feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling. I could take.
Hello, beauties. How is everyone? I hope you guys are having a really, really great day. Welcome, welcome. This, I promise y'all, it's going to be short, but I do want to ask a question. First of all, if you're new here, or if you watch this or catching the replay, my name is Tia Simone, and on this channel right here, we do commentary and sometimes makeup, sometimes. And true crime on Thursdays. We have a lot of fun over here, and we have some amazing people over here. So make sure you subscribe, like, share, all that good shit. I hope everybody is doing well. Hey, Roro, Mama of Six, Break the Silence. Hi, Foxy Bot, Felony Melanie, Aesop, Mama Tot, Kira, Commander. How are you? Blessed and highly favored. Everyone, hello. Break the Silence. Felony Melanie, 420, Erie, Nanya. Did I say Aesop? I think I did. Okay, so I just wanted to come on here and give you guys the great news, which I'm sure you guys have already heard already. All kinds of channels. It's like breaking news. Daejhanae has been obtained. She is, I guess you can say, I don't think it's technically arrested, but I'm going to pull up this article and read it for you guys. I'm sure a lot of you guys have some questions, and I think the most important thing is that they're finally moving in the right direction. And I think I'm ecstatic. I'm so happy. I am so happy for her parents, because we do know that she's the one who did most of it. And to be honest with you guys, it's now everything. So much has like changed with this case. If you've been following this case from the very beginning, it's very heartbreaking, Melanie. If you have been following this case from the very beginning, everything it just changes. It's like you tell information and then something completely different comes out. And I think one of the biggest things and the biggest questions that was being asked when it comes to this case is, where's the second video where allegedly Winter Donovan slammed SHANQUELLA down, and that's what ultimately caused her back injury and her neck injury. However, there are new accusations coming to surface that is saying that Winter didn't touch her. So it's like you just don't know what to believe, what not to believe. It's crazy. However, I've been praying heavy when it comes to this case because, like I told you guys, it hits home to me, and you can't believe. It's very shocking. It's heartbreaking to see that somebody would go to that extremes for no excuse but jealousy. I'm curious to see what her excuse is going to be once she's questioned. I am ecstatic to hear what possible excuse, but let's be clear, she had a lot of time to think up a motive. All of them did. But I just don't understand what she could possibly come up with because there is no excuse whatsoever for what she did. But I'm curious what her excuse is going to be of why she chose to do what she did. So let me pull up this article really quick. And thank you guys for being here. Okay, I'm going to have you guys watch this, but the 6 friends aren't going to be so besties in prison, and I'd be scared enough to get there. Actually, I was watching Hills in the Air short video. That's where Mallory was saying stuff. I don't follow Mallory at all. Hello, everyone. I heard a breakdown about how Mexican prisons work, and I'd be scared enough to get in there. Okay, so I'm going to play this and then pull up this article. Let me share my screen here.
that there is accountability for those who are responsible for her death.
At first, her family was told she had died of alcohol poisoning, but days later, an autopsy report painting a very different and brutal picture. Her family says Robinson and 6 others arrived in the popular Mexican city on October 28th for a vacation. Less than 24 hours later, she was dead. A video circulating on social media appears to show her being beaten in a hotel room. NBC News is not showing it because we cannot independently confirm its authenticity.
Everybody that have children, either it's a son or a father or a daughter or anything, it make you want to just get down on your knees and pray for this family and then pray for the protection over your own children.
FBI Charlotte told NBC the video was referred to its office, but declined to answer further questions about it. And now her death certificate highlighting that discrepancy. Her cause of death listed as severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, which is instability in the uppermost vertebrae. The document also says Robinson was found unconscious in her living room. Her death sparking outrage on social media after the video, which we have yet to verify, and the report became public using the hashtag Justice for Shanquella.
We have got to talk about the Shanquella Robinson case.
The Shanquella Robinson story is disgusting.
Justice for Shanquella Robinson.
And Kyrie Irving even donating $65,000 to her family's GoFundMe page to help pay for her funeral costs. Now, the Baja California Attorney General's office says it obtained an arrest warrant against, quote, the likely person responsible for the events that caused Robinson's death, citing that it was, quote, a direct attack, not an accident.
I'm searching for that too. Some of these people lie, you guys, so much. And the person who reported this is somebody that I really, really trust too. So I hope that she didn't just come on here and she's been accurate this whole entire time. I'm going to play that video for you guys because even when I'm looking on here, I don't see where she's been obtained. So don't get your hopes up just yet because I don't trust these people. You cannot, and to be honest with you, the woman that I've watched, she's a nurse or medical expertise or whatever, and she's been so accurate this whole entire time. NCB did an interview tonight with the Mexican investigator who's been exposing Mexico corruption in her case. Maybe I should play that because I don't see not one article. And when I pressed on the article that the person sent to me, this is what they're playing. So if this isn't, we already know this stuff. Okay. So let me pull up. I will play that too. Who said that? NC Beat. I will play that. I'll go on Facebook and play that because he's usually pretty accurate, but something's not right here. And people need to quit doing this because ultimately all it's doing is making it worse. That's all it's doing. You have had everybody and their mother reporting on how Daejhanae has been arrested or whatever, but I don't watch many people. Okay, the only person that I truly, truly watch is, I can't remember her name. Hold on, let me see. She might be in my history. Yep. Hold on, you guys. I'll show you.
the suspect arrested, right? Question mark. A lot of people were saying that this young woman by the name of Daejhanae was arrested, but I was coming to you guys with a video showing that a reputable news company was saying that this young lady was arrested already. And a lot of people felt the way about that. Some people felt like it was clickbait, and I'm like, but I'm not saying she's arrested. I'm telling y'all what the national news was telling the people, that this young lady was arrested, which was not true. And I just want to pull that file up anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people felt a way about that. So let me just pull that up.
Authorities have arrested a friend of Robinson's who was also on that trip.
This right here. This was the video that I was showing y'all where it says arrest made in death of Charlotte woman. And this is coming from ABC.
Now, you see, and this isn't her, but she's another one that I trust too. But I didn't watch this video. I fell asleep while she was playing. But there was another lady too that reported on it. But regardless, I knew that there was a reason to why people were saying it. People need to stop doing this because you're compromising the integrity of this case. And there's no wonder why there are so many people who don't believe in any of the stuff that other people are saying, even when it's the truth. Because then people reporting and like, oh yes, you know, because people are so passionate about this case, including myself. We want to see justice. So of course people are going to report on it. I don't blame people for wanting to get that information out there and not even to be the first. Since probably for the past few hours, there's been video after video that I've seen. Daejhanae arrested, Daejhanae arrested. But the one video that I've seen was from somebody that I trust, and her. I watch her too because she's always going to keep it real as well. That's why I waited to hear this from Tia. Well, thank you, Felony Melanie. But I'm more than willing to say if I make a mistake or I don't care about being the first to report on information, nah, that's never going to get you anywhere. You try to be the first to report on information, and that's where you end up getting in trouble. I've been watching Down the Rabbit Hole News. She knows some inside people there and is able to translate what's going on and has been very informative. Yes, I love Down the Rabbit Hole News too. She's amazing. She's literally become such a great person to talk to. She's like, I adore her. I just adore her. But this is really starting to make me mad. They're probably keeping it under wraps so the others can slip up and get comfortable thinking they got away with. Right. That could be true too. That's a good analogy, Kalita. Have you checked the Mexican news outlets? I have not checked that yet. The only person that I have seen was, I'll show you guys who she is too, but she is the one that I rely on. And her, excuse me, her name is Tissa Tell. She's a gorgeous woman that has been very, very accurate when she reports on this story. And her too, she is too. And eventually I always get to links, so I'll put them in the description. But let's continue to listen to what she has to say.
It wasn't coming from me. So I wasn't one of the people that was out here promoting that this girl was arrested. That was a reputable news company that was doing that. But it appears that we do have some confirmation coming from, like I told you guys earlier, a company by the name of Metro Polymix. I say Polymix, but it's Metro Poly MX, I'm sure. But they are a news company out there in Mexico, from my understanding, and they are reporting on this. So I'm just like, I don't know what, I could do some flips right now because I'm so happy, even though it's just the beginning. But I want to get into this article real quick, okay? Oh, okay. So you had saw it that morning, Janae, on GMA. So they were saying the same thing. That's crazy. That's crazy. What's up, everybody in the chat? Thank you guys so much for joining in. So I want to.
Maybe they are keeping it under wraps. Maybe they only had like a few articles out there just to, you know, so a lot of people aren't talking about it yet. You know what I'm saying? Because that does make sense what Kalita is saying. It would make more sense to keep it under wraps, just to stop the others, you know what I'm saying, from who knows what the others might try to do. because it is very, very clear that I think, oh my goodness, just dropped my lighter. It is very, very clear that all of them, in my opinion, I think the U.S. is keeping it under wraps. You might be right, Nanya. Okay, I don't like it when people report false information, especially by somebody that I truly, truly rely on for my information. And I just don't think that she would do that. She's been very truthful, very accurate. She doesn't report on anything until she usually gets the facts. So I usually watch her and rely on her. And even when I go and vet the information that she talks about, she's always right. So we know already so far that they've all been quiet, obviously. So we don't know what kind of motive or anything that they were planning while they're being quiet. It is obvious that they are guilty because they wouldn't be quiet. They would have said something, right? Something. So I think all of them, because if you really think about when she was laying there on the ground, right, and they picked her up and moved her, they all probably contributed to helping move her. And in my opinion, they all should be responsible for what happened to her. Obviously, Daejhanae the most. And Winter, if that story is true, that Winter did body slam her. However, I feel like all of them need to be held accountable for this. Not just one person, not just two, everybody who was there. That would make sense to protect the integrity of the case. I would hope Daejhanae is detained. Exactly. The prosecutor in Mexico did say they will be prosecuted in Mexico for femicide. He did a press conference a week or two ago. Yes, they're all, well, the people that they have the arrest warrant for, which I think we all know who that is, she's going to be prosecuted for femicide for sure. I think it was just a matter of finding them or her. So let's listen to a little bit more of what she has to say, but I knew I wasn't going crazy. I knew I seen it. Okay, let me continue.
Us to get into this article of what they're saying regarding this arrest. It's not a lot of details, understand that, but as more details come out, I will, come to you guys and talk to you guys about it. I may not go live, but you will get a video or something, okay? So they're saying, okay, metropolymx.com is saying breaking news, okay? Daejhanae Jackson arrested in the United States, okay? They're saying Daejhanae Jackson was placed in federal custody waiting for her to begin her extradition process to Mexico. All right. I guess that process has kind of started now, from my understanding. They're saying San Jose del Cabo, Baja California, sir, during the night of November 28th, meaning last night, according to this article, Daejhanae Jackson was arrested by Interpol agents, okay, after a control judge issued an arrest warrant against her for the crime of femicide of SHANQUELLA Robinson. She was murdered on October 29th in the Cabo Villas complex in this tourist destination, y'all. Let's keep going. They're saying Daejhanae Jackson was placed in federal custody, waiting for her to begin her extradition process to Mexico, where she will be formally accused of the femicide of the 25-year-old businesswoman, which is SHANQUELLA Robinson. So it's not a whole lot of news at this time, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm just happy. That's what we've been waiting on. I can't wait to hear the news reports. I can't wait to hear from her mom to see how she's feeling, because just last week we got an arrest warrant, right? Just last week we got an arrest warrant. Her mom was really looking forward to actually having somebody in custody. So now, as they're reporting that she is in custody, I can't wait to hear it, to see it, to learn more about it. I can't wait for some of the news stations here in America to jump on that. All right. I feel like I'm not sure with Interpol if there's a way that we're able to see things, but honestly, y'all, this is what this news article is reporting, that she has been arrested. But I'll be honest, as happy as I am, I won't feel fully satisfied and fully confirmed until I see a mugshot. But that's just me. I'm not going to feel 100% until I see a mugshot confirming that, indeed, this young lady is arrested. And I have to
agree with her on that. I won't feel like it's actually happening until I see some kind of proof. You know what I'm saying? Because there's just been so many twists and turns, and all of these twists and turns that has happened throughout, excuse me, this whole case is because of people spreading rumors for clout, and it's sad. It's a shame. People are still, and you want to know what's crazy, you guys, is that on Mexico's report, they are actually referring to Daejhanae as a man. So if she is, detained, she probably needs to get that straightened out with the Mexican authorities, because I guess, because of the Mexican authorities doing the investigation and them watching the videotape, what they noticed is that, excuse me, Daejhanae, at one time she had her hair done, she had her lace front on, and then eventually she didn't. So I don't know whether they're going by some rumors, and then they're also going by like the video that they saw, but they're like referring to Daejhanae as a man. And the thing is that even when I try to clarify some rumors, when it comes to this case, people on TikTok were really mad that I clarified that Daejhanae is a biological woman. Like, people were pissed. They were like, no, you don't know this for sure, because people were using this as an excuse to spew hate, So I think, well, hopefully she gets that all settled when she talks to them. I really think she should probably get that confirmed and let them know. Even though, Daejhanae, not that you're going to be watching, but it doesn't fucking matter, okay? I'm not talking about your gender identity, but if you go to prison in Mexico, I don't think that matters, because I don't know if this is true or not. You guys can confirm, but isn't there men and women in prison in Mexico? So I just don't think that it's right to refer to her as, they need to get that straightened out and quit and get that off of their report. Yes, there was confusion about Dre wearing a wig up and down. This is clearly stated out in Eduardo live interview. Right. And people were so mad at me that I confirmed, no, she's a biological woman, why even say that? But one of the biggest questions I think I have, if you guys have watched that video, if you guys have watched it, and I know it's hard because it's triggering, but if any of you guys notice, doesn't it seem as though Daejhanae is very, very strong? Like, very strong. She had to have been very, very strong to be able to, like, the damage that she's done. And they're even now saying that Winter Donovan really didn't slam her. Yes, the women in the same prison. That's what I thought. Okay. Let me see here. What they did to this beautiful woman is disgusting. SHANQUELLA's life mattered. Absolutely, Tia. They say Quilla was tiny, short, and thin. She was very tiny. Like, to me, she might have even been shorter than me, you guys. And I'm not even 5 foot. Like, not even. And my boyfriend was just talking about how short I am today, how I have to look up at him. And he's like, I think he might be 6 foot or something, but she's really tiny. Like, I don't understand how people can be so senseless and so fucking irresponsible. Okay, yeah, like 120. And let me tell you something. I got junk in my trunk. Okay, like yeah, I'm short and I'm tiny, but I still got all the thighs and everything like that. Hi Tiffany. Hey Saucy. She did seem very strong and much larger than Shanquella. Yes, absolutely. I thought the dad said she was like 120. Yeah. My husband is 6'3" and I'm 5'3". Yeah. I'm like, I think I'm almost 5 foot, but not quite. My hope and prayers are all of them go down. I agree. There is some people that are starting to be empathetic, and we'll talk about that towards the end. So I'm gonna play a little bit more of this, and then we'll go out of that and see if I can find that article for you guys.
Be honest, I really hope that once she's arrested, extradited, whatever the process is, I want her to sing like the best songbird that she could possibly sing like. Because I can't get over the people going over to her mom's house all the way out there in where was it? North Carolina. And y'all sitting up there lying to this lady saying this baby died of alcohol poisoning. Like y'all almost got away with it. Okay? Almost got away with it if it wasn't for the video that y'all sat up there and took. But then would they really have gotten away with it? Because if the autopsy is showing that she had a broken neck and a cracked spine, then question was going to come back up, but it would have just been a bunch of hearsay possibly. But this video, and then y'all went to this girl's mama house, and when the mama asked y'all, were y'all over there fighting? Y'all legit lied to this woman's face. Like, I don't know what else to like y'all lied to, y'all said no to this lady's face, only for video to leak. So that's one of the reasons why I want her to sing. Like, girl, get to singing. Sing as loud as you can, girl, so you can have some company over there. Okay. So that's just really the latest information that we have at this time. I can look up and just see if there's anything else. But right now it looks like Miss Daejhanae Jackson. Everybody was speculating that it was indeed Daejhanae that the arrest warrant was out for. It appears that they were right, and Miss young lady has been arrested according to the news article. Okay, so I just want to get more confirmation from more local, national outlets here in America to confirm that. So that's where we are, guys. I just wanted to come to y'all, not long, just real quick, give you guys this update. Let me see. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Yeah, they said the extradition process took between 1 to 2 weeks. So when I hear took between 1 to 2 weeks, makes me wonder, did they already put out the arrest warrant and we just found out about it later? Right? Because a lot of people also said from the time that we found out about it last week, they were like, oh, this whole process is going to take a week to 2 weeks. Y'all are expecting something to happen so quick, and it's only going to take a week to 2 weeks. Well, it didn't take that long, according to this article, from the time frame in which they just put the arrest warrant out, last Wednesday? But according to took between 1 to 2 weeks. So look like they've been drafted the information, but let's keep going. They're saying the extradition process took between 1 and 2 weeks, resulting from the procedure that the Attorney General's Office of Justice carried out in the Attorney General's Office of the Republic, and this in turn to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Mexico. Okay, they're saying the Attorney General's Office of the state of Baja California, sir, managed to prove that the woman who appears in the video attacking Shanquella Robinson is precisely Daejhanae Jackson, as Metro Poly MX reported at the time. Okay, so that's where we are at this time. It appears that they are indeed arrested. Now, I do know that the North Carolina Beat, Gerald, is doing an interview with the same investigative reporter, Gerardo Zuniga, I believe is his last name. I know he's doing an interview that I'm going to definitely go check out. And for those of you guys that don't watch it, I'll come back here and tell you some of the things that was discussed. But I just really want to know if he is going to confirm, being that he is already over there in Mexico. He also has connections with the police department and things. I also want to know if he's going to confirm that she has indeed been arrested on that interview. Okay. So should this article be inaccurate, we'll come back and we'll talk about that as well. But I am going to check out that interview and see what else he had to say, because he did a good interview with the lead attorney. So I'm going to see what else, if there's any new details that he may share with the North Carolina beat regarding that. So it's just it's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. So this is some interesting stuff, y'all.
This is Vegamore's biggest sale of the year.
Okay. So, yes, I think now that she is arrested or whatever, I do think she's going to start singing like a canary. Can you guys hear me? My bad. Okay, so Nanya, to answer your question, yes. I do think that she is going to sing like a canary, okay? Here are some of the things, like, I don't know what you guys heard or what you didn't hear. I don't know when it stopped or when it started. But one of the things that also really bothers me about this, and I think one of their biggest mistakes is that why would all of them stay silent for one person? If you guys even think about it, if as I sit here right here and think about it, they have all been quiet. And it's really all for one person, because if the only person, I don't care if there's another video out there, we have not seen that video. So until we see that video of supposedly Winter Donovan slamming SHANQUELLA down to the ground, and then ultimately that's when SHANQUELLA stopped moving, nobody has seen that video. So therefore, I'm going by the video that I've seen. And even with the video that I've seen, and if I could pull the pictures up, I'll show you guys. In my opinion, and people might disagree with me, but in my opinion, I think that Daejhanae did all of that to her alone. And the fact that they have all been quiet, yes, they might feel guilty because they stood back and they watched, there were how many men there? And all of those men literally sat back there and watched like the fucking cowards and pieces of shit that they are. But to me, why would you be quiet? I think that was their mistake. Now, Daejhanae, I can understand why she would be quiet. But for the rest of them, for them to just be quiet when technically, I don't think that they touched her. They're just accessories, right? But in my opinion, I just feel like the rest of them, besides Daejhanae, because to me, I definitely believe she should have been quiet. But for the rest of them, just from me looking at this whole thing, them being quiet to me is for her. It's almost as like they're being quiet because they got her back. You know what I mean? Maybe the family doesn't want it released because it allegedly shows the final blows, in my opinion. Maybe. I'm not saying that the video doesn't exist. I'm just saying until I see the video, I'm not going by that video. I'm not going by what other people say, because there's been too many times where a lot of creators have gone by what has been said and it has been absolutely wrong. Now, yes, the video may exist, and if it does, until I see it, I'm going to say that I feel Daejhanae did that on her own. And I feel like she's perfectly capable of doing it on her own. Now, let me tell you guys the new story. And this is allegedly, obviously, anytime you're talking about a case, it's obviously alleged. But the news story is that Daejhanae is the one who did all that damage. When SHANQUELLA was on the ground, they're basically saying, and I will let you guys hear the person who also told the story. But when Daejhanae was ultimately hit to the ground, I'm sorry, SHANQUELLA, when she was hit to the ground, Daejhanae hit her. She fell to the ground. Supposedly, she kept hitting her and hitting her. And someone intervened. Somebody intervened because I guess SHANQUELLA started screaming like she was in a lot of pain. Somebody intervened, and then that's when they call the front desk, because Winter called the front desk because she said that SHANQUELLA needed medical attention. But to me, they have all been very, very quiet, and I feel like, yes, Daejhanae should be quiet, okay? Because there is obvious evidence out there that she put her hands on SHANQUELLA. It was an attack. It wasn't a fight, because SHANQUELLA was not fighting back. That's an attack. It's not a fight unless somebody's fighting back. But, and hopefully I can get a hold of my niece, because I do have some medical questions that I would like to interview her, or if you guys, anybody has medical expertise, because there are some questions that I have about what the doctor did. Like, how is it that the doctor can see that they call the front desk or whatever, they say SHANQUELLA needs medical attention, the doctor checks SHANQUELLA and says that her vitals are stable, they're normal, however she's dehydrated, but the doctor pretty much tells the Cabo 6 that she needs to go to the hospital. Well, did you not see any bruises on her face or anything like that? And if her vitals were stable, and people get dehydrated every day, and when they get dehydrated, they get an IV, to get fluids in them. I just find it weird that the doctor wouldn't notice that she had bruises on her, and then would literally recommend for her to go to the hospital. That it's just weird to me. Eduardo gave definitive timelines, especially about the Mexican corruption and the disparity of the local doctor, and then the postmortem. Okay. Yeah, I will pull that interview up in a minute, because, yeah, there was always something very, very odd to me about the doctor suggesting that she goes to the hospital and her vitals are stable, but yet you don't see any bruises on her or anything. Yeah, it is a horrible story, K. McDutch Master. That's a tongue twister. It's a horrible story. It literally breaks my heart for her family. I'm thankful to everyone who gave SHANQUELLA a voice, not to prosper, but because they care. Absolutely, Felony Melanie. I think so many people, like, if it was not for so many people and creators talking about this case, let's just be real here, it would not have gotten to mainstream media or anything like that. Does anyone think the doctor felt intimidated? heard she was a female doctor. I didn't know that. Wait, I think somebody did tell me she was a female doctor. Intimidated how? What do you mean, sweetie? Hold on, let me pull up a little bit of this interview here. That's not what's on the police report, though. They tried to revive her, and they tried to revive her at the villa. The reporter did break it down. Yeah. Well, on the police report, they said that the timing is off to me. It's just off. Let me pull up this here because I do think it's important to acknowledge that with the authorities in Mexico, the doctor, it could be corrupt. You never know. You never know. It's always good to get all perspectives. Wait a minute. Wrong page. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Is this a recent interview? Okay, I see it. Wait. Okay, yep, I see it.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. Give you all a couple of minutes to come in. My name is Gerald Jackson, and you are watching the North Carolina Beat. I am the founder. I am the CEO.
Also, shout out to him for all of the work that he's done, being very passionate. I think he is what true crime creators, which I don't think he necessarily just does true crime, but whatever, he's not a tragedy pimp. Okay. He actually talks about cases because he genuinely cares. He actually talks about cases because he genuinely wants to get justice for that person. He doesn't talk about cases just to exploit the family and exploit the victims and try to force the victims to talk to him. Okay. Or because it makes him feel important or to use them for his financial gain. Now, of course, you're going to do great with your channel and everything like that when you're talking about a high profile case and when you are in a direct contact with the family, but it doesn't seem to me that he is taking advantage of that. So maybe the tragedy pimps around here on these fucking YouTube streets should look to him as an example. Okay? You fucking idiots that don't know how to talk about cases because all you care about is your damn self.
Of the North Carolina Beat. Tonight, we have an investigative journalist who has just broken news that an arrest has been made in the case of Shanquella Robinson. Now, I want to let you guys know that I am still personally waiting for confirmation for that, but he is close to the investigation. He is a very close source to the authorities over there and getting out information. And tonight we are going to talk to him. I'm going to take a deep dive into his investigative journalism, or shall I say his investigation into this story that is now viral all around the world. And if you're watching on Facebook, whether you're watching on social media, Twitter, YouTube, share this video and let people know that Gerald Jackson with Gerardo Zuniga is live with the NC Beat, and I'm interviewing him. And I want you guys to know that I understand there was another interview, but this is the North Carolina Beat. Okay, this is Mr. Jackson. All right, so I don't know who else he talked to, but he's talking to me tonight, and I have questions. I don't want to repeat a lot of things. I don't want to just go over things that's already out there. I want to kind of stick to his investigative skills and stick to his gathering of the facts of what's happening in this case. All right. So first I want to bring on is Gabriella Barnes. Hey, Gabriella.
Hello, everybody.
Gabriella is a translator, and she is going to be translating the communication, the conversation back and forth from me to Mr. Zuniga and from Mr. Zuniga to me. So it's going to be good. This is live. This is not pre-recorded. All right. So, you know, I just want to introduce her to you all. She reached out to me and she told me that she was a translator out in California, and that if the family needed her services, she would render, you know, them for free. You know, if they needed to communicate with the Mexican authorities. And I reached out to her and asked her if she would be a translator, you know, between me and Mr. Zuniga. And she was so excited, and she was like, yes, I would love to be. So it's going to be exciting, you know, to hear from this investigative journalist who has been, you know, talking with authorities, who's been exposing the corruption that's in this case. So without further ado, I want to bring you guys Mr. Gerardo Zuniga up. Hello, Mr. Gerardo.
Hola. ¿Cómo está? Muchas gracias.
How are you? Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell him that I'm going to call him by his last name, because I don't want to get his first name, you know, misconstrued, because I'm still on the hood. All right.
Te va a llamar por tu apellido. No puede pronunciar bien tu primer nombre.
He's very professional. I really like him. He seems to, you know, be very thorough when he interviews, and he's very professional. I respect that. So we're going to listen to a little bit of this, not the whole thing, but just a little bit to see, you know, their perspective and what they think about only. He mentioned, yes, he has great energy, right, Commander? Just, they would know. He mentioned her credentials, so let's just listen to this, because I think it's important to know that, you know, Mexico can be very corrupt, because there's something wrong here. Like, some things just aren't adding up to me.
Gracias, que te va a decir por tu apellido.
No problem, no problem.
Awesome. Mr. Gerardo Zuniga, I'm going to try my best. He is an investigative journalist at metropolimets.com. He has been uncovering.
All the links will be in the description. Sometimes I may forget, and actually I really don't forget. I'm late with it. It's Tia time, okay? But I will always put links in the description, okay? I like him, but I feel some type of way that he wouldn't want to work with a fluent creator, in my opinion. You're going to have to elaborate on that, Nanya. You mean he wouldn't want to collaborate with any other creators that... Yeah, elaborate on that, because I'm not sure what you mean.
The corrupt.
Or you can come up. We would love to get your opinion.
Corruption that's happening in this case.
Él quiere introducirte. Tú eres el periodista de Metropoli Mex y estás cubriendo la corrupción y estás cubriendo la investigación de SHANQUELLA desde Cabo.
Es correcto, estamos trabajando en la investigación desde el día que nos tocó conocer el caso de SHANQUELLA, 19 días después de su homicidio.
He wants everyone to know that he has been covering the story since they realized what was going on, which was 19 days after the homicide of SHANQUELLA.
Wow. Tell him I would personally like to thank him for coming on to the North Carolina beat to talk to the people in America about what he has uncovered as an investigative journalist and his courageousness in continuing to get the truth out to what happened to this beautiful 25-year-old.
Él quiere darte el agradecimiento personalmente de que estás tomando la oportunidad de hacer la entrevista por medio de North Carolina The Beat y estás cubriendo la investigación como periodista de esta persona, una persona fantástica que fue SHANQUELLA, de 25 años solamente.
Muchas gracias. Es un honor poder proporcionarles la información que ustedes necesiten, que se está generando aquí en Baja California Sur, en Cabo, del caso SHANQUELLA.
He wants to thank you very much for being able to have him, and he is coming from Cabo, Baja California Sur.
Wow. Thank you. Mr. Zuniga, can you tell us how long you've been doing investigative journalism and why is exposing corruption is important to you?
¿Quieres saber cuántos años tienes cubriendo, siendo periodista, y por qué es de que estás queriendo exponer la corrupción?
Tengo 27 años de periodista y 6 años como periodista de investigación.
He has been doing journalism for 27 years and 6 years doing investigative journalism.
Estamos certificados por el Centro Internacional de Periodistas de Estados Unidos y por el USAID, el Desarrollo Internacional.
He is certified with the journalism board in the United States and also with the Crusade. ¿Qué quiere decir Crusade?
USAID es de desarrollo de Estados americanos.
It is the development of international states.
Wow. That is impeccable. Wow, that's amazing.
Es muy impecable.
Muchas gracias. Tenemos dos premios de periodismo en México, 2019. Este año, 2022, también ganamos premio de periodismo por el trabajo que hacemos, trabajo serio, profesional, y que hoy lo estamos realizando en el caso SHANQUELLA para que el mundo se entere qué fue lo que pasó con ella.
He has won 2 awards, one in 2019 and one in 2021. And procede.
Y que estamos ahorita nosotros trabajando de la misma manera en el caso SHANQUELLA para que el mundo se entere de lo que ocurrió en Cabo.
The homicide had occurred on October 29th. So when he did give him information, he said he needed to find out the information, but he didn't quite give him all the information. He told him to go through social media and find out who she was. And that's how he started out with the case.
So, Mr. Zuniga, an informant reached out to you or told you that there was a homicide. And of course, they didn't give you all of the information. You had to go to social media to find out, who the individual that was, murdered in this situation. Of course, we all know her around the world as Shanquella Robinson. So, in the beginning, you want to translate that?
Él dice que el informante de la policía le había dicho que habían cometido un homicidio, pero no le había dado la información, nomás le había dicho que se metiera por las redes sociales de SHANQUELLA. Okay.
Sí. Él me informa eso y me manda un parte informativo donde dice que ella había fallecido por ingesta de alcohol. Entonces me dice él que la información que está circulando internamente entre los cuerpos de seguridad es incongruente. ¿Por qué? Porque cuando yo reviso el nombre de Shanquella Robinson, me doy cuenta que hay...
Okay, so is he the only person that I'm just wondering if he is the only person that is investigating the corruption in this case? Because I just feel like, I don't know. They should translate every single word. Right. I don't. Yeah, it's a no for me on the translator. Yeah, I just. Y'all, I'm not liking this because I just feel like there's just some things. It's not every word, for one, and for two, you couldn't, like, I was under the impression that she was, maybe I wasn't listening, but I was under the impression that she was also investigating the corruption in, this case and probably other cases in Mexico. This is obviously a little bit hard to follow because of, how things can kind of get lost in translation. That's what I'm getting here. Are you guys getting that feeling? This is not an interview that most of us were referring to. Okay, which one were you referring to? Spanish is very easy for Americans to learn. I encourage all English speakers to try to learn it. Plus, Italian is similar. Yes, my boyfriend's. Okay, thanks, Aesop. My boyfriend's mother and his nana, they speak Italian. I do. I want to learn Spanish. Absolutely. And you're right. She definitely is translating correctly. She said that the police told him to look on social media, not that he had to go back to look for himself. Lead attorney did a good interview. He broke the story out much more clearly. Okay. Anybody, if you want to send me the link to that, you can. But he has a lot of interviews on here. So you have to be specific about which interview you're talking about. Okay, so I'm going to, excuse me. He broke the story out much clearly. But this is the interview. Like with him, I usually go by a lot of the stuff that he says because he's in direct contact with the family. I appreciate the fact that he is putting this information out there, but it's just, yeah. He says no one in their town knew about the story until he's seen it on social media. I have not seen a lead attorney interview. Yeah, I haven't either. But hold on one second here. My mouse is... I hate that when your mouse gets stuck. And then you can't click it. Wait a minute. No, I don't know Gerald Jackson personally. I just know that he's speaking with the family. But I definitely will do my research on him and things like that. But I don't know if that's true or not. So Te amo, yes. And te quiero mucho. I know that. Hold on. Somebody said something. She's definitely not translating correctly. She said that the police told him to look on social media, not that he had to go look for himself. And, you know, I don't know, like, I'm sure a lot of people don't know Gerald personally, but I think people should be careful before, you know, you're saying that kind of stuff, because I don't like that. I really don't. I thought he said he found it on social media. We can't drop links. That lead attorney lived in Mexico for years. I said, send me the link. If you send it to me, because you can't drop links in here. You have to send it to me on Instagram, or you can send it to me through email. Okay, you sent me the link, Danya? All right, I will pull that up, because I can't with that, because it just seems a little bit off to me. Okay, so let me pull this up, what Nanya sent to me.
Wow. So I say now, okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for sending me this. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so this is the lead attorney to my email. Okay, thank you. Let me play this here. And this is the lead attorney talking to the person who's doing the investigating, which is the same guy that he interviewed, but maybe this will be a little bit easier to follow.
Wow. So I say now, okay. Now, you guys thought that the Mexicans thought that Daejhanae was okay. Let me stop it. This is another part that's a little fucked up. All right, I was like, now listen, guys, listen. You know, we already talked about the bonnets. You know, y'all didn't understand. I said, now you guys thought that Daejhanae was a man. 5,500 people in the chat. Daejhanae, if you're watching, hello. You going to jail now. They thought, Daejhanae, they thought you were a man. So I asked her, I said, well, why did you think Daejhanae was a man? He said, well, that's what the reports were. Why do y'all think they thought Daejhanae was a man? Anybody know? Again, this is a little bit cultural. They thought that Daejhanae was a man because of the maid. The maid went in there. Shout out to Luke Hazley. The maid found.
Just to let you guys know, this video is not that long. It's only 3 minutes and something seconds. So this is a clip. The interview was 3 hours. It was a 3-hour video. but is on the page. Okay. So Missy sent me the link too, and then so did Kira. Kira, I don't see your link though, but I do see your link, Missy. If your link is the whole entire video, which we're not going to watch the whole entire video, but if your link is the whole entire video, I will play that one as well. I learned a lot from him. There's a lot to break down. I see that, but this here is just a clip, and I'll just play the rest of this 3-minute clip for you guys.
A wig! And they found the wig, and they were like, what the fuck is this? And the people at the villa noticed that Daejhanae would take on and off the wig. Now, I lived in Mexico 5-6 years. I never saw one Mexican wearing a goddamn wig, not one. The only time they would see Americans wearing wigs really would be at like Halloween. And they were like, it's not Halloween. Like, no, it's not Halloween. It's not Halloween. Like, what woman just wears wigs? What woman just goes around taking on and off a fucking wig? Well, who does that? No woman does that. The Latinas, they don't know. Now, some of these Latinas, they'll get you with the damn hair extensions. They act like they don't know what a fucking wig is. Ask them about these damn hair extensions. All right? So,
just to clarify, you guys, he's an attorney. He's an attorney. And this is his page, the lead attorney. Wow. I've never heard an attorney talk like this. Wow. Okay.
don't trip. But the whole full-blown weave with the cap underneath, they don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about that. So this is kind of what we get into, because there are some cultural things that, you know, and again, this is a whole different country. Mexico, you know, you can't get closer to the United States in terms of location than Mexico, but it's still a different culture. So their women don't walk around every day wearing, you know, Brazil number 19. They don't know nothing about it. All right. So this is what we're kind of getting into.
To those dedicated to making an impact in the lives of others.
Okay, let me pull up the other interview here.
Oh, boy, struggle streaming already. I have a good stream to present to you guys today. This is an important one. Everybody wants to know about what's going on with Shanquella Robinson's case. You know, Shanquella really has been in the eyes of the nation, and not only our nation, but the government of Mexico is also deeply involved now in this case. And there was a time, of course, when there was a huge cover-up, and we all kind of know what happened a little bit with that. And the Mexican government didn't know anything about it. Lord knows the United States government didn't know anything about it. There was a person who was responsible for really blowing this up, exposing this case to light. And it is this man here. His name is Gerardo Zuniga. All right. So I did an hour-long interview with our man Gerardo. and he is going to tell you some facts that are not readily available, and he's going to explain a lot of things. It's really such an interesting it's such an interesting interview, because not only is he, you know, in another country, in Los Cabos, like working on this, but you can see the cultural differences. Like, he said some things and I was like, what? The way the Mexicans think about this case in certain ways has been interesting. Some of y'all have noticed this. Their Mexican government is interesting. He already knows what prison they're going to. He already knows. He is, because he is an investigative journalist, he has contacts with the police down there, contacts with the government. Apparently there's only one prison in Los Cabos where these people, assuming that they get arrested, indicted, tried. He's going to share some details about this prison. He's going to share details about how this whole case got started. This is not information that you were going to hear on these other YouTubers' channels that are basically reading from ABC and NBC. Where does ABC and NBC and CBS, where do they get their news? From Gerardo. They get it from Gerardo. So I was like, hell, man, we might as well get it straight from him. He's the one that's been working on the case. He's the one talking to the officers on the case. He's the one, you know? I don't know how they get information in Mexico from the officers, you know?
Sorry, guys. I had to click it to the YouTube because I don't want something to accidentally happen and somebody's email gets shown. So I had to make sure that I was off my email. Okay, let's continue. We will listen to a little bit of this and then continue. Yeah.
This is not from these police officers. We got a little pickle. That's what the old people say, you know, we got an issue. We got a little pickle. First of all, let me just get a couple of these right here. Shout out to the Naughty Bear. Thank you, Naughty Bear. We're gonna get into it, but let me pull this up. Let me pull this up. My man. We're gonna get into it, but let me pull this up. Do this. All right, do the Spanish. Hold up right quick, guys. All right, let's do this again. Let's do this again. Refresh it. Subtitles. Oh, all right, here we go. Here we go. All right, now we're cooking with grease. Now we're cooking with grease. All right. Share my screen. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of both. We're gonna have a little two-way action. Pause. All right, let's go. Let's see where we're at with this. It's the wrong button. We'll do it like this. All right, let's see what we got. for you today. This is Gerardo Zuniga. This is one of the principals. Okay, here we go. All right, sorry. So let's get this straight one more time so we all know what we're doing. All right. The captions, the Google captions, not good. All right. So I am going to interpret while you guys read the captions. Okay. I'm gonna turn the volume down a little bit so we're not talking over each other. And then we'll go from there. All right, let's go. Attorney here. All right, guys, I have someone very special for you today. This is Gerardo Zuniga. This is one of the principal players in the, you can say, in the discovering of all of what's going on with SHANQUELLA Robinson. And so we are going to do a small interview here. This is going to be in Spanish. My Spanish isn't perfect, but his is, so we'll work it all out. And then I will translate this for you guys later on. So I'm super excited to have him here. This is a big opportunity to really get the information direct from a source that's on the ground there with his offices in Mexico, in Los Cabos. Señor Zuniga, muchas gracias por darnos esta entrevista. Estoy seguro que... Okay, let me just turn this down. I'm gonna try to do at the same time. All right, same time, man, same time. Señor Zuniga, muchas gracias. Okay, Mr. Zuniga, thank you so much for giving us this interview. I know all of these outlets have tried to talk to you about this. So I want to thank you for all of your attention and time. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You guys are right. I changed the damn stakes. Wait. Gosh, we're struggle streaming. All right, give me one more second. Oh my God. All right, this is subtitles, Spanish, and then we need to translate them to English, right? So it was right the first time then, right? Or did I mess it up? Was it right the first time? We want them in English. Okay. They were in English. I don't know if they were English in first. What the fuck am I doing? All right. Let's do it again. All right, fuck it. Let's go. Share my screen. Third time's the charm, guys. All right, let's go. All right, now subtitles in English. All right, let's go. In Mexico, in Los Cabos. Señor Zuniga, muchas gracias por darnos esta entrevista. Estoy seguro que todos los medios han tratado de hablar con usted en cuanto a todo esto. Hey, that's pretty good, right? This shit's working. It's working. All right, let's go. Shout out to Google Translate. All right, let's see what our man has to say. All right, let's go. Entonces, realmente agradezco su tiempo y su consideración en esto. ¿Nos puede decir un poco de cuál es su trabajo, dónde se encuentra ahí en México cuando está trabajando y de qué se trata su experiencia en ser periodista de investigaciones?
Gracias, muy buenas. Muchas gracias por la entrevista. Realmente mi trabajo.
Oh my God, I had it. Okay. Now I got to switch it back to no. Why isn't it? Wait. No, I was speaking Spanish. Why isn't it working?
Periodismo de investigación.
Pues, igual y mucho. Wow, pues.
Y
okay, now it's
tengo
working.
27 años de carrera. Realmente.
En ser periodista. All right, sorry guys. Okay, let me back up. Okay, apparently I was getting impatient. I thought we had another thing, but I just need to be patient. Okay, I'm gonna interpret for you where this stuff is messing up. So we're gonna go. All right, here we go. De investigaciones.
Gracias, muy buenas. Muchas gracias por la entrevista.
Thank you so much for the interview.
Realmente mi trabajo es de
my job.
Periodismo de investigación. Tengo 6 años de experiencia como.
All right, my job is of an investigative journalist. I have 6 years.
Periodista certificado de investigación.
Doing investigative journalism.
Y tengo 27 años de carrera.
And I have 27 years.
Fue en,
a career
en televisión
in
nacional,
television.
Y en televisión internacional
television, national and international.
Telemundo.
Univision, Telemundo.
Tengo 6 años que prendí mi propia empresa.
And I started my own company 6 years
de
ago.
noticias y realizamos prácticamente lo que es periodismo de investigación en el tema de corrupción, tema de abuso de poder y en el tema de delincuencia. Es la
Wait a minute. Okay. I think my banner is obstructing the view. Does that help? Let's go back a little bit. Does that help? Okay, that helps a little bit. Okay, sorry. We're going to get it all worked out.
Realmente mi carrera fue en televisión nacional y en televisión internacional estuve trabajando con Univisión, Telemundo y tengo 6 años que prendí mi propia empresa. Hicimos una plataforma de noticias y realizamos prácticamente lo que es periodismo de investigación en el tema de corrupción, tema de abuso de poder y en el tema de delincuencia. Es la especialidad que tenemos.
Wow, pues le digo que yo viví en México unos 5 o 6 años ahí en Guanajuato. Y yo sé que pues ustedes tienen un trabajo muy importante, pero a la vez. Let me stop this. Can y'all read this? Is this working? I have no idea if this is working or not. Is this working? Put yes if this is working well, or put no if it's not working well. Do y'all want me to? Do y'all want to read it, or do y'all want me to say it? I don't know. Okay, all right, y'all are saying that it's working. Okay, I love y'all. All right, great. It's working. All right, let's go. Y'all are on it. All right. I'm gonna read it too, and whenever it gets all messed up, I'm gonna jump in. Okay. Peligroso, ¿verdad? Especialmente cuando se trata de lo de las drogas y corrupción y todo eso. Entonces, realmente todos queremos agradecer a todo su entrega y su valor en hacer ese trabajo. Yo tengo entendido que pues igual y muchos de los periodistas pues los mataron pues por hacer su trabajo bien. Y a veces hay justicia y muchas veces no, ¿verdad?
Efectivamente, desgraciadamente aquí en México es muy difícil ejercer el periodismo de investigación. Sobre todo temas que tengan que ver con el crimen organizado, pero también la corrupción a muchos de los compañeros periodistas los han asesinado precisamente por denunciar temas de corrupción y en el caso de nosotros de Baja California Sur, muchos periodistas de nosotros hemos sido hostigados, perseguidos por el.
All right, let me try this. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Pause. Let me see. If I do this, is that better? That's a little better, right? Let me see if that's a little better.
El mismo gobierno.
That's better, right?
Cuando hemos tocado temas que no están de acuerdo o que exponen sus abusos de poder, su corrupción y les molesta. Entonces, en el caso de nosotros, pues prácticamente hemos estado sobreviviendo a.
Okay, so this is working better. All right, so here's what I'm going to do for people who like to listen and just not read, right? So I am going to try to interpret this. I'm going to turn his sound down a little bit, but I can hear it, but just so that we're not talking over one another. And I will tell you what he's saying. So if you want to read it, you can. And if you just want to kick back and listen, then you can do that too. All right. Y'all got a nigga work it. All right, let's go. So I'm going to turn it back a little bit. All right. So we're talking about his job. Muchos de los periodistas, pues, los mataron, pues, por hacer su trabajo. Okay. Bien. Many of the journalists were killed doing their job. So I'm just thanking him. I'm thanking him for the job that he's doing in exposing SHANQUELLA's case. Like sometimes there's justice and sometimes there's not.
Desgraciadamente aquí en México es muy
Yes.
difícil ejercer
Unfortunately,
el
it's
periodismo de
difficult in
investigación,
Mexico to do
sobre
these
todo
investigations
temas que tengan que ver con el crimen
and all the
organizado,
issues that have to do with
pero también
organized crime,
la corrupción
also
a
corruption.
muchos de los compañeros periodistas
Many
los han
of my
asesinado
colleagues have been
precisamente
murdered
por denunciar
precisely
temas de
for
corrupción y en el
reporting
caso
on
de
these issues
nosotros
of
de Baja
corruption
California Sur, muchos periodistas de
in
nosotros
Baja California
hemos
Sur.
sido hostigados, perseguidos por
We
el mismo
are
gobierno
followed, we are
cuando hemos
harassed, we're
tocado
persecuted by the
temas que
government
no están de acuerdo o que
when we
suponen
talk about issues that the government doesn't like us to
abusos de
speak on,
poder, su corrupción y les
specifically
molesta.
abuse of power and
Entonces,
corruption.
en el caso de nosotros, pues
In our case,
prácticamente hemos estado sobreviviendo
we've basically been surviving,
al acoso del gobierno para que nos deje trabajar.
surviving the
Y
harassment of the
justamente como es el
government.
caso de SHANQUELLA, temas que a veces no se dan a conocer por los periódicos.
Okay, I'm glad he's reading it because I know you guys can't read the, translation, and I can't either. So we're going to listen to a little bit more of this, but this guy is basically risking his life because he's coming out with all of this information, which is crazy that he would risk his life. And I find that honorable that he would put his life on the line in that way. But the fact that he could ultimately be unalived for just, doing investigative reporting and trying to get the truth out there, I definitely find very courageous. I truly believe they're going to make an example out of this girl to show others, don't bring these problems to our neck of the woods, in my opinion. I agree.
When it comes to cases like SHANQUELLA's cases that aren't normally known by the public,
Cuando uno sale y da a conocer lo que está pasando,
when we come out with the news, we get these types of reactions from the government.
¿Nos puede decir cómo descubrió este tema? Porque ahorita, pues, todos los Estados Unidos estamos hablando de esto, pero, o sea, todo esto salió para nosotros hace unos
Now,
días.
all the United States is talking about this, but this really just came out for us a few days ago.
¿Cómo supo usted de todo esto?
How did you find out about this?
Lo que sucede es que el caso de SHANQUELLA sucedió el 29 de octubre. Nosotros 2 o 3 días antes habíamos publicado una noticia.
Okay, guys, okay. All right, so let me just pause it right now. I don't know if this has ever been tried on YouTube, all right? So I really don't know. Do y'all prefer me speaking it or do y'all want to read it? I've blown it up. This is as big as it'll get. Right? So sometimes you got to let these girls know, hey, this is it. God damn it. Either you love it or you don't. All right. Do y'all want me to read it and keep I don't know if we're, all right. Put yes if you want me to speak and put shut up if you don't want me to speak. Like, do you want me to speak or not? Yes if you want me to speak. Okay. All right. So people are saying yes. So I'm going to speak it and I'm going to leave it up. All right. You're right. This is it's going to be hard to please everybody, but if you just want to read it, then you can turn the volume down. All right, because everybody's saying speak. Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. But let me just pause right here and let you guys know what we're talking about. Extremely, extremely dangerous job that this man has. He's talking about how his colleagues have been harassed, how he's been harassed, how his colleagues have been murdered, right? For talking about things that the government does not want you to talk about. Specifically, the government does not want you to talk about corruption and abuse of power, right? Those two things from the government side. And then from the drug dealer side, they don't want you talking about the murders. They definitely don't want you talking about the drugs, right? So you can catch it from both ends. And, it's tough. When I lived in Mexico, one of my good friends was an attorney who represented people who had First Amendment cases. He represented a lot of journalists, a lot of freedom of speech people. And his apartment in DF, there were cameras everywhere. He had all this security. There was probably 12 cameras in his apartment that were placed in there by his job. I mean, it was super, super, super dangerous, right? So this is the gentleman that we're dealing with here. All right. So let's keep it going.
En el mes de octubre, ¿verdad? O sea, ¿cómo supo usted de todo eso?
So how did you find out about
Bueno,
this?
lo que sucede es que el caso de SHANQUELLA sucedió el 29 de
Well,
octubre.
SHANQUELLA's case came out on October 29th.
2 o 3 días antes habíamos publicado
2 or
una
3 days
noticia
before,
que tenía que ver con el secuestro y asesinato
we had published
de
an
un
article
americano también.
about
Su nombre
another
es Rodney
American.
Davis.
His name was
Originario
Rodney
de Colorado,
Davis,
California.
and he was from
A él
California.
lo secuestran y lo asesinan en México.
He was
en un lugar que se
kidnapped
llama
and
Loreto.
murdered in Mexico
Nosotros, ese
in a
tema no
place
se había
called Loreto.
manejado tampoco, había estado en silencio.
We hadn't talked about that one either.
Descubrimos ese tema, ese
It was
caso que había
silent
pasado,
until we found out
y lo
about
dimos
it.
a conocer a la opinión pública.
When we made it
Cuando
public
lo damos a conocer y damos todos los detalles de
and we
cómo
gave
era lo
all
que
of the
había pasado
details
con ese americano,
about the American,
recibimos mensajes de
then we
personas,
got
contactos,
messages
de la policía,
from the
y nos
police.
dicen que por qué están extrañados,
And the
que
police
por
were
qué
like,
hayamos sacado
it's
ese
weird
tema
y'all are talking about the
de
American
ese americano de 73 años
of
de edad de Loreto,
73
de aquí
years,
de Colorado,
73 years
California,
old from
pero no habíamos
California,
sacado el caso de SHANQUELLA.
but you guys are not talking about
Entonces yo les
SHANQUELLA's
pregunté,
case.
bueno, no tengo esa información.
And we were like,
que me
well, we
dijeron
don't know about
mataron a
SHANQUELLA's
una
case.
joven extranjera,
It's like
SHANQUELLA, me
they,
dijeron, en Los Cabos.
SHANQUELLA is
Entonces les pedí los datos de ella y lo que
is
yo
a young American. She's a
fue,
foreigner. So I asked
investigar,
for
darle la
her
respuesta
information,
a su
and what I did was
información. Eso fue el día
investigate.
18 de noviembre. Y tenía
And
2
that was
días
the
familiares
18th of
amigos de
November.
SHANQUELLA habían subido un video de
And
la golpiza,
friends and family of
solicitando
SHANQUELLA had
de las
uploaded a
autoridades de
video of the
México.
beating,
¿Por qué
and they were
respuesta?
asking for a
Porque
response
los
from the
amigos de
Mexican
SHANQUELLA
authorities.
le habían dicho a su mamá
Because
que
SHANQUELLA's
ella había
friends had
fallecido
told
de una,
SHANQUELLA's
por
mom
haber consumido
that she had
demasiado
died
alcohol.
because of drinking too much alcohol.
Entonces, la familia primero pensó que era cierto.
So the family
Cuando les
first
llega
thought that
ese
it was
video a
true,
sus
but when
manos,
they saw the
lo hacen
video,
público para buscar esas respuestas.
then they were
Entonces,
looking for
yo tomo
answers.
ese video,
So I took the video
tomo la información de ese video
and I got the
y
information
hago
from the video,
hacemos una noticia de lo que había
and
pasado.
I made the news, I made it public
¿Cómo
about what
supimos
happened.
qué es lo que había pasado? Porque nosotros revisamos todos los comentarios, el hilo de comentarios que
We
había en
looked
ese
at
video.
all the
Pudimos darnos
information.
cuenta
We
que
looked at
había
the
sido un
comment
homicidio,
threads.
cómo se llamaba, con qué amigos iba,
We
toda la
followed all the
información
friends. We looked at the names of
necesitamos para
everyone,
exponer el caso, ahí la obtuvimos.
and we
En
got
los
all the
comentarios
information from
de
the
todos los
case.
amigos, familiares de
All of
ella.
the friends, the family,
Entonces lo damos a
everyone
conocer
connected
la
with her.
noticia.
And
Y al día
then we wrote the
siguiente,
story.
esto se convierte en un boom.
The
¿Por
next
qué?
day, the story went
Porque
boom.
nadie sabía en
Why?
México
Because no
lo
one
que
in
había
Mexico
pasado.
knew what had happened.
Nadie, y en Estados Unidos tampoco se sabía.
In the United
Sabían
States,
entre los
also,
familiares
you
de
guys
Loreto,
didn't know
México,
what was
pero en
going
Estados
on.
Unidos no sabían qué había pasado.
Her friends knew and her family
Y
knew, but you
justamente
guys
por esa
didn't know.
noticia es que se destapa este caso
So because of the
que
story that
nosotros
we
lo sacamos
wrote, it
el
uncovered everything.
18 de noviembre.
That
O
was
sea,
the 18th of
19
November.
días después
That was
de lo
19
de cuando
days
había pasado
after
el
the murder.
homicidio. O sea, estuvo oculto a la opinión
So
pública.
all
Nadie
of
se
this
enteró
was
en México,
hidden from
nadie se
public
enteró en
opinion.
Estados Unidos,
No one in
y mucho menos
Mexico,
en Los Cabos, hasta
no
que
one in the
nosotros
United
dimos a
States,
conocer
certainly no one
el
in
tema.
Los Cabos knew about this until we made it known.
Impactante. Entonces, usted pudo, o sea, el video de que usted está hablando.
So the
es el
video that you're
video de
talking about
la golpiza,
is
¿verdad?
the video of the beating?
Correcto.
Yes,
¿Y
that's
se
correct.
sabe quién fue la persona que inicialmente
And do you know who was the first
publicó
person
ese
to
video?
publish that video?
Fueron familiares de SHANQUELLA y amigos
It was
de
friends
la
and family of
universidad donde ella
SHANQUELLA
estudió.
where she was studying in university. How do I know that? Because I reviewed SHANQUELLA's friends' profiles, the profiles of people who shared the video, and they were all students where she studied. So that's how I knew that they were friends of hers. Even in the comments, the friends were asking other friends, hey, have you seen this? Did you know about this? And they started to share the video. And the video starts going viral. And so we made the story. When we wrote and published the story, everything went viral.
Y ahora el gobierno de los Estados Unidos está enterado y trabajando.
I'm really glad this interview that you guys told me to play it. I mean, it's very interesting to hear the perspective of even how the video started and how Mexico wasn't even talking about this, which is just crazy. So thank you to the person who sent this to me. I appreciate it. All of you for sending me the links.
Now the United States is involved. The Mexican government is involved.
Se dice que este crimen por ahorita por lo menos está calificado.
Now we're hearing that this crime is classified as a femicide. Can you explain to us a little bit about what femicide is?
Sí, claro.
Yes,
Bueno, lo que es el
certainly.
feminicidio es el homicidio que se comete en contra de una mujer.
Femicide is a homicide that's committed against a woman.
El homicidio es un asesinato, ¿no?
A homicide is a murder, right?
México hicieron
But in Mexico,
una ley
they made a law
incluyeron en el Código Penal
in the federal penal code
de feminicidio, que significa
of the
que
crime of
cuando
femicide,
persona,
which means that whenever a person kills a woman, especially a man,
entonces lo califican como feminicidio.
then that's classified as femicide. Also, when it's a woman against a woman, but the issue of violence has to do a lot with it too. And SHANQUELLA's case was very violent. And so that's why they classified it as a femicide, because of the level of violence that was used in Los Cabos.
Y lo importante de eso es escuché que igual en un homicidio.
Now it's important the femicide classification, because in a homicide, maybe the maximum is around 12 years, but in a femicide, it's much more. Is that right? Or why is it important to classify it as a femicide? Well, the femicide is an aggravating factor. So, for example, when you have a regular murder, it's from 12 to 20 years in prison. But when it's a femicide, then it goes up from 25 to 50 years in prison, because the femicide is an aggravating circumstance against a woman in Mexico. It's punishable by a very high sentence.
Y eso puede ser
Smart kids will be smart kids no matter what school you put them in. But if you put them in a school
en contra de una mujer por una mujer,
so it can be, femicide can be from a woman against a woman, or does it need to be a man against a woman?
En ambos casos aplica el feminicidio.
Femicide can be in either case.
En el caso de SHANQUELLA,
in SHANQUELLA's case, she was murdered in a violent way. And more, apart from that, it was videotaped. And being videotaped is yet another aggravating factor.
Que cometió ese asesinato va a tener una pena muy alta.
So the person that committed this murder is going to have a very high prison sentence.
Que es donde se cometió el homicidio, es un
penal in Los Cabos, where the murder occurred. She's going to be in a medium security prison It's called the San Jose del Cabo prison in the same city where the murder occurred. So it's not just the killing of a woman, but it's the killing of a woman with violence, and those two things together make it the femicide?
Es correcto cuando hay una
Yes,
extrema
that's
violencia,
correct.
aplica
When there's
el
extreme
feminicidio
violence,
y la
then
y
femicide
la-
applies.
El castigo es de 20, 25 años.
The prison
eso ya lo
sentence
va a
is 20,
determinar el
25 years to 50
Y
years
sobre
in prison.
todo,
That's going to be determined by the
porque en este
judge.
caso, la persona que la asesinó huyó.
And
Entonces,
in this
tiene
case,
más agravante
the
todavía,
person that committed the
porque
crime
huyó,
fled
abandonó a la víctima.
and abandoned the
Eso
victim. So
pasa
those are
cuando
other aggravating
un
factors.
homicidio normal, por eso es que le están calificando como feminicidio, porque
That's
tiene
why
muchos
they are
agravantes.
classifying this as femicide,
Abandono de
because it has so
cuerpo,
many aggravating
extrema
factors.
violencia,
Extreme violence, abandoning
y
the
además que
body,
la grabaron, que también
fleeing,
ese
and they
es
recorded
otro,
it,
es el tema de la privacidad.
which is the issue of privacy, invasion of privacy, which is another aggravating factor.
Wow, okay.
Yo, let me just stop it right here. We got a lot of stuff going on, guys. Listen, this woo, Daejhanae Quad, or whatever her fucking name is, she's in trouble. I'm assuming it's we don't know who's on the warrant, but let's assume it's her. Because in the warrant, it said that it's the person, the aggressor, right? And so what they're saying is, look, if you just commit a regular murder, then it's a murder, all right? About 12 years here or there. But if it's against a woman, then that can be an aggravating factor. And if that murder is committed against a woman with extreme violence, now we're talking about femicide, right? These two things are in aggravation of the murder. You get an enhanced sentence. And then on top of these other two things, you fled the country, which is another aggravating factor. And then on top of that, you abandoned the body, which is another aggravating factor. And then on top of that, it was recorded, which is an invasion of privacy, which is another aggravated factor. Oh, come on, man. Man. You know what the hell Mexico is going to do to these people. I mean, they stacking up the aggravations. All of these aggravated circumstances, they're stacking them up. And they're black. Come on. Come on. We're going to get back into it. Let me shout out a few of you guys. Shout out to Bill Reed holding it down. Bill Reed, y'all know Bill Reed. He's
Okay. So now I see why some people are starting to be a little bit empathetic for Daejhanae, because this is bad, like really, really bad. All of those charges, I still cannot fathom and understand how they could be so dumb to do something like this. Obviously evil. But it's a damn shame when you're evil and dumb. Zero personality, nothing going for yourself. However, you're young. You had your whole life ahead of you. What the fuck were you thinking? To do something like that to someone, okay, is testable. It is horrible. Probably one of the most saddest things I've ever seen. Like, it literally infuriates you to even watch. But the fact that somehow or some way, y'all thought you were going to get away with this shit. That's what you thought. You thought that you were going to go be all nice and contrite and be, loving towards SHANQUELLA's mother, lied to her, And you thought that Shanquella's mother was going to just take your word for it and let it go. But this is her daughter, her pride and joy. I would be doing the same thing, going above and beyond to try to figure out what was wrong. I guarantee you, we as mothers, we have intuitions, okay? We know when something happens. We know when something is really, really bad. The fact that you guys even went there and smiled in her face is absolutely evil and disgusting. But to do something like that in Mexico, did you not stop and think, I shouldn't be doing this? Obviously, she wasn't fighting back, so you fucking attacked her violently. There is nothing. I don't know what the hell possible motive, because trust me, that horrible, poor excuse for a human being, Daejhanae, is going to try to come up with something, right? But what excuse could you come up with for what you did that the world's seen? Because even if you did try to fight Shanquella, okay? But Shanquella didn't fight back. So you still continue to attack her, even when the idiot that was holding the camera was like, at least fight back. She said no. But you continue. You thought you were going to get away with it in Mexico, and you were sadly mistaken. And not once did you stop and think about Shanquella, her life, her fulfilled life, her successful life. She has, not that I'm saying anything, but she's young. She has no kids, successful businesses, entrepreneur, more money than all of you guys combined in that villa. She paid for the villa. She had everything going for her, and you snatched that away from her. And the fact that you thought that you were going to do that in Mexico and get away with it, I have no empathy. I will laugh at your ass when you're in prison. I'm sorry. I have no empathy for someone like that. Even if I was to have empathy, all I have to do is imagine if there's something like that, God forbid, happened to one of my kids. You deserve it. All of the Cabo Six does. All of them. Because to me, I've always looked at it like if you can stand back and watch something like that, grown-ass men stood back and watched this happen and watch that evil demon beat on her and attack her and didn't intervene or do anything. They literally just sat there and watched it. They're worse to me. Because they could have stopped it. They could have saved a life, and they chose not to. Oh, I've heard some people feeling bad, like saying, "Oh, you know, they're young people make mistakes." I don't give a shit. Right? Break the silence. It's very true. I don't give a shit how young they are. Yes, they're young, but that has nothing to do with it. It's called human decency. Okay? Human decency. You're not stupid. You know right from wrong. The way you were hitting on her, literally, you could see the hate. It was just, you could feel the hate just from watching that video. How could one person hate another person so much? Somebody that you actually knew. Now, Shanquella was not friends with them. She knew them. She went to college with them. She was cool with them, but she wasn't friends with them. Just Khalil, which was a guy she called her best friend. But regardless, I have no empathy. Even if I was to sit here and try to say, yeah, they're young. Young people make mistakes. I don't care if they were 17, 18, 19. I don't care. You snatched this beautiful young woman who had her whole life ahead of her. You snatched her life away from her. You deserve to rot in hell. And let me tell you something, Mexican prisons are pretty fucking close to it. We'll watch a little bit more of this.
He's one of the senior members of the group. Shout out to Bill Reed. I'm gonna get back in it, but let me show y'all some love in the chat too. Shout out to MC Recovery and Wellness Relapse Network. Says vacationing with my little sister and my mother is still in the hospital recovering. Yes, we hope that. So thank you so much, Vincent Edwards. All right, let's
4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get back into it now. We were just talking about how the person that killed SHANQUELLA, it's almost a goddamn wrap because there's so many aggravating factors. The aggravating factor of the victim being a woman, the aggravating factor of their having used extreme violence, the aggravating factor of having abandoned the body, the aggravating factor of fleeing the country, and the aggravated factor of invasion of privacy. My man was like, this is gonna be about 50 years. 50 years. Put a yes in the chat. You think damn Daejhanae can survive 50 years in a goddamn Mexican prison. He's gonna tell you about these prisons too. Ooh, you wait. He knows all about them. This man, you know, this is his job. He's been doing this stuff for 27 years. 6 years as an investigative reporter with his own company. She ain't even gonna. And for the people coming in, the way he found out about this case is because there was another case. There was another case he got contacted. They were like, hey, why aren't you covering this American? And he was like, well, what American? And it was a 73-year-old American that had been kidnapped in Mexico, had been kidnapped and murdered. They tried to get the ransom. They couldn't get it. Murdered him. He was 73 years old. So he wrote the story on that, broke that. When that broke, the police hit him up and they were like, oh, okay. You could talk about the 73-year-old, but you can't talk about SHANQUELLA. He was like, who is SHANQUELLA? And they were like, here's a little bit of information. Go do your little research. So he starts doing the research. He gets online, he finds SHANQUELLA's page, and what he does is he starts at one point and then he spreads out. So he gets to her page and then he starts looking at her family members' pages, and then her friends' pages, and then her friends' pages. And what he finds is that there's a video, the video that we know of the beating. And this is not out. No one knows about this in Mexico. No one knows about this in the United States except for SHANQUELLA's friends, the students. And they were all, and the family members, and they were kind of sending the video back down to Mexico, and they were sharing it amongst themselves. They were sending it to Mexico. Why? Because SHANQUELLA's friends that went down to Mexico, they had come up telling the mother that SHANQUELLA died because of alcohol poisoning. But then the family members started seeing the video and they were like, what the hell? So the video was getting dispersed, but it was all on the low. SHANQUELLA's friends from the university, from college, where she studied, all of the students in the college were passing the damn video back and forth saying, yo, did you see this? Did you see that? Look what happened to SHANQUELLA. But it was just between them. And so then Gerardo got a hold of that, started following all the friends of SHANQUELLA, the friends' friends, and the friends' friends of friends, tracked down all of the comment threads, and that's how he pieced everything together, wrote the story, published it. He wrote the story. The next day, that damn boom went viral. Everybody starts talking about it, right? The nation starts talking about it. But she had died. SHANQUELLA had died 19 days before the story. She had been dead for weeks, but it hadn't hit, right? So when he writes the story, that's when it hits. That's when it explodes. All right. So he has just gotten through telling us about the aggravating factors of this femicide and why it's important to classify this as a femicide. All right. Let's keep going.
la ficha roja o sea,
3 delitos en uno solo.
Wow, okay. Se habla de la ficha roja o sea, los documentos.
Now, it's being talked about the red file, the documents and the process to extradite the person that killed SHANQUELLA. Can you talk to us about the importance of the red file, what that means?
Sí, es el procedimiento de la ficha roja.
Yes, the red file is the process
de orden de captura
that to get the documents together, to get the detention order, the arrest order,
entregado a la Interpol,
and get all those documents and send them to Interpol. Interpol is going to get the documents, they're going to locate the person, and they're going to detain the person. The person that's responsible for the physical aggression.
Nos explicó cómo se enteró.
Now, you explain to us how you found out about all this.
¿Qué es realmente que pasó? Sabemos que
what really happened that day? We know that 7 friends went down to Mexico, to Los Cabos, but what happened when they got there?
La información que nosotros tenemos
well, the information that we have is that
entre SHANQUELLA y la chica que la agrede.
There was a fight between
la persona que la agrede.
Wait, let me back up here. Let me back up.
Entre SHANQUELLA.
So the information that we have is that there was a fight, some type of back and forth between SHANQUELLA and the aggressor. I don't know if you were paying attention, but the person who assaults SHANQUELLA. Okay, wait. This is what I was talking about for a second. All right, let's back up. This is fucked up. I'm going to tell you what he says, and then we're going to go through it. But this is a result of him being Mexican. All right. So because he's Mexican, he doesn't understand certain things about the United States, just like we do not understand certain things about Mexico. So he's like, listen, I don't know if you noticed in the video, but the woman that was attacking SHANQUELLA, you know, from what I've talked about with the cops, and we're trying to piece it together, we're trying to speculate. And we think it was due to a fight. Because if you notice, the woman that attacked SHANQUELLA, she had some intimate underwear on her head. And so we're thinking, well, why would she be wearing intimate underwear on her head? We're thinking that she fell asleep and SHANQUELLA put the intimate underwear on her head as a joke. And so when she woke up, she found the intimate underwear on her head. And I'm sitting there listening, and I'm like, he doesn't know. You mean everybody put in the damn chat if you know what he's talking about. That's exactly.
Do you guys know what he's talking about? Okay, I could laugh at that. Those were not intimate underwear on her head. That was a bonnet. Okay, I wear it on my head at night. Let me see if I can find it. Which you guys, like, you know, my hair, have too much of it. So, take this bonnet and put it on like this. Like that. And that's it. So he thought they were intimate underwear, but it's a bonnet. Now, this isn't a shower cap. This is a bonnet. They have different kinds, but yeah, it does. It looks like a shower cap. but it's a bonnet that, you know, everybody wears them on their head, especially people who wear extensions, lace fronts, things like that. It's not intimate underwear. So that's funny. Okay. So yeah. That's really funny to me. So yeah, that's funny that he thinks that they're intimate underwear. You know what I mean? So let's continue. We'll listen to about 5 more minutes of this, and then, you know, I will put the link in the description. Make sure that you guys go watch the rest of this. But that's funny. Okay. I like you, intimate.
He's talking about a bonnet. Mexicans have never seen a bonnet in their life. Es que no saben. Mexican women don't use bonnets. They just wake up and they're good to go. So he's like, that must have been, because you know how the white folks are. The white folks, you know, you'll be asleep and then they'll put their underwear in your mouth or some shit like that. Well, the black people must be the same way. And so he's saying from the police, they were trying to speculate, well, Daejhanae.
Just to be clear, it's not only black women who wear bonnets. I think it's just in Mexico they don't that much, but a lot of people wear bonnets. You know what I'm saying? Black, white, Hispanic in America here. You know what I mean?
She woke up and she had the underwear on her head. And she said, if you notice, during the fight, she rips it off. She was pissed off. Why did you put that underwear on my head? They're Mexican. This is where we have to remember that this occurred in a foreign country. They don't understand our culture, so there's going to be some miscommunications. We don't understand theirs. All right, so that's where this is going. So let me just, because y'all were going to get like, what the fuck, is Lee translating this right? That's where we're going. All right, so just wanted to clear that up. That's not Gerardo's fault. Gerardo's girlfriend does not wear a bonnet. She don't wear a bonnet. Gerardo has never dated a woman that's worn a bonnet. All right, so he didn't understand why a black woman would be walking around with underwear on her head. All right, so this is where we're at with it. All right, all right, so let me back up. This is where we're going.
La información que nosotros tenemos.
Okay, so the information that we have
entre SHANQUELLA y
is that there was some type of fight between SHANQUELLA and Daejhanae. I don't know if you were paying attention, but the person who was attacking her was wearing some underwear on her head. Wait, I'm sorry, the damn banner. Shout out to my man Don Vicente. I got to take the banner off. Thank you so much, Don Vicente. All right. I don't know if you were paying attention, but the person that was attacking SHANQUELLA is wearing underwear on her head, and so she starts to attack SHANQUELLA, thinking that maybe it was some type of joke, something like that. Did she put the underwear on her head? That's the information that we have right now. It's not confirmed, but that's what we see. So we are investigating it. That maybe this started because of a joke of some underwear. So she hits her. And if you look, she grabs what she has on her head and she throws it off with a lot of rage. So maybe that's what triggered the problem. But it was just, you know, friends hanging out. Maybe they were joking. They were certainly drinking. They went to the pool. They were having fun, like all young people. Hold up. Let me interrupt you a little bit. That thing that Daejhanae was wearing on her head,
una ropa interior. Sino
That's
que es
not
una cosa
intimate wear.
que se llama en inglés como un bonnet.
That's a
que
bonnet.
Es algo muy común que
It's
las
something
negras,
very common
usan
that
para
Black
cuidar
women
su cabello
use
cuando se duermen,
to take care of
¿verdad?
their hair when they
Igual
sleep.
los mexicanos no saben qué es eso.
You
Incluso
Mexicans don't know
los
nothing
blancos
about
aquí
that.
en los Estados Unidos. Es
And even
algo,
white people here in the
algo muy
United States, a lot of them don't know about it.
las negras.
But it's something very typical among Black women.
Yo menos, ¿verdad? Pero
You know,
las negras sí. Entonces,
you guys
eso es lo
don't
que-
use it. You
lo
know,
que
men
trae
don't
algo
use it. I certainly don't
súper
use it.
común en
But it's
nuestra
very,
comunidad.
very common for bonnets to be
Pero sí,
used in our community.
Ajá, entonces eso fue lo que detonó el problema.
He's like,
En
okay,
el video
okay.
también se observa
So there was a
que
problem.
una
And
persona,
then
también
in
una
the
mujer,
video, you can
se
also
cruza en
see
la
a
cámara
woman
cuando voltea la cámara
crosses
al lado
into
derecho.
the
La
on
persona que
camera,
está
crosses on
grabando,
camera,
se ve que una persona
and the
cruza.
person recording
Esa
turns the
persona
camera to
dice,
the right. The
de
person
acuerdo
that
también a los
crosses in front of
policías,
the camera,
que
according to the
es una
police,
persona que después interviene
is that the
en el pleito.
is a person that tried,
Incluso
according to the
se
police, she tried to
discute
intervene into the
con la
fight,
agresora
and she tried to stop the aggressor.
y ahí paran el pleito.
And that's kind of like when
Cuando
when those two
había,
stop.
ella como que escuchó los gritos y los golpes y es
The
que
the
viene
girl
a la
heard the
recámara de ella que
screams
estaba en
and
la
the
parte de atrás
blows, and she
y
comes
entra
out
corriendo y se ve la
from
cámara.
the
Se ve la cámara
back
cuando ve que
bedroom,
se mete y de repente la cámara voltea para
and
el
she
otro
gets in
lado.
front of the camera a
Y
little
ya la
bit, and
deja.
the camera
Y
turns to the
lo
right.
que dicen los policías es eso, pues que hubo
That's
otro
what the
pleito
police
ahí,
are saying.
aparte del de
That there
Shanquella.
was another smaller fight
Entonces,
after
sí, porque
Shanquella's
escuchaba que hay dos videos,
after
por lo menos,
Shanquella's
¿verdad?
interaction.
Sí, así es.
Y lo de la
So there are two
interrupción
videos. Is that
con
what
la
you're
otra
saying?
chica, eso
Yes.
es en el video, en el segundo video, o en el segundo video o en el primero.
En el primer video se ve cómo se quiere meter y luego como que se hace
In the
para un lado
first video, you can see that the woman kind of wants to get in, but then the camera goes to the right, and then the aggression stops.
Entra y empieza a discutir
But there's
con la
another video
agresora.
where
Y
you see
entra
that she
Shanquella,
goes
está
in and she
sentada,
starts arguing
como
with
empieza como
Daejhanae,
convulsionarse, ¿no?
and that's when Shanquella starts, her body
Entonces,
starts
la
to convulse.
discusión fue en el segundo video.
Eh,
Cuando,
con la otra chica, sí, en el segundo video.
So with the other girl,
¿usted ha
when there was that
visto
interaction with the
ese
other girl,
video?
that's seen on the second video.
No, pero me lo describió una
Well, have you
agente de la
seen the
policía, me
video?
dijo que lo
No,
tenía.
This is the part I wanted to see. I needed to see this part. I'm so happy that I'm seeing this part because, and no, it's not, it's okay to laugh. That part was funny. You know what I mean? Like with the bonnet and stuff. He's hilarious. But I was wondering if that video did exist. So I'm glad that they're talking about this now. So I'm going to listen closely to this.
I haven't seen the video, but it's been described to me by the police officers.
Porque toda la información que yo tengo, mucha de la información que
The
yo
information that I
tengo
have,
es confidencial, se pudiera
I get
decir
it from the
que
police
México
officers. It's confidential.
no es, ¿cómo le diré? Común que los partes policíacos, por ejemplo, como el que yo conseguí.
Like, for example, the police report that I got. These are not public
Son
documents.
reportes internos.
These are internal reports that we're able to get our hands on.
Okay. Sí, fue muy impresionante también que usted consiguió
Yes. Yeah, it was
ese
impressive that you were
reporte
able to
de la
get the police
policía, ¿verdad?
report.
Y igual había unas contradicciones entre ese reporte y lo
And
de
to be
la
honest,
necropsia,
there
¿verdad?
were contradictions between the police report that you got and the
¿Qué decía el
autopsy, right?
reporte de
What
la
did the
policía?
police
¿Qué
report say?
explicaba ahí?
Can you explain to us
Bueno,
what
el
the
reporte
police
de la
report said?
policía habla
Yes,
como una especie de retrato
the police
de lo
report
que se vivió en ese momento
kind of
en
shows what
cuanto
happened
reciben ellos la
during
información
that time.
de que
The police
Shanquella
received information
está golpeada.
that
Reciben
Shanquella
una
was
llamada
beaten
que hace una
They
chica
received the
amiga de ella de
call
apellido Donovan. Hace
from
la
a girl
llamada
named
911 y
Donovan. She
solicita la
called
presencia de una
911 and
ambulancia.
she requested the presence of an
Eso
ambulance.
sucedió alrededor de las 5 de la tarde, más
That
o
happened
menos.
around 5:30 in
Ella
the
hace la llamada
afternoon, more or less.
del día 29 de
She
octubre,
makes
hace
the
la
call on
llamada.
October 29th, the 911
Entonces,
call.
al entrar la llamada,
When the
Zach was diagnosed with leukemia. He died of the therapy meant to save him. The Dare to Dream Project is transforming treatment and care for kids with blood cancer.
The Dare to Dream Project from the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
911 call comes in. The police call the Red Cross. So the Red Cross also comes. When they arrive at the villa, they meet with a doctor who was already there. They asked the doctor what happened. The doctor gave a general explanation that she got a call around 2:30 in the afternoon to request her help. So the doctor goes to the villa. It takes her about an hour. She says that when she gets there, she finds SHANQUELLA in a very vulnerable state. She can barely speak. The doctor finds her like half conscious. She tries to revive her, but the doctor can't. The friends are asking her to give her an IV because she had drunken a lot of alcohol. That's what the friends were saying. The doctor looks at her, diagnoses her, and says, no, we have to take her to the hospital. But the friends refuse. They say, you have to treat her here. So the doctor starts to treat her there. So they declare her dead. They declare SHANQUELLA dead at 5:30, around 5:47, I think. So it was about 3 hours. And the doctor couldn't revive her. She said that the doctor said that she gave SHANQUELLA 14 CPR sessions to try to revive her, but it didn't work, and she declared her dead. She said that one of the workers from the Red Cross, one of the paramedics, was also helping her out, trying to treat her. But it wasn't possible. Now, this part is key because it shows one side of what happened, but it's contradictory to what the autopsy says and what the death certificate says. The death certificate says very clearly that after she was attacked, SHANQUELLA died 15 minutes later. And it gives the exact time at 3 in the afternoon. But according to the doctor's version, she would have been getting there at that time. So the autopsy says that the doctor, when the doctor arrived, she would have seen SHANQUELLA already dead. So that's the suspicion. At 3:15, when the doctor arrived, she was already dead, but the doctor declared her dead at 5:47. So several hours have passed. So this is why the Attorney General's office is investigating the doctor, because the doctor's information contradicts the autopsy.
Why do you think that, Foxy Bot? You think that the Mexican authorities will have sympathy for SHANQUELLA and her family? Oh, never mind. I thought you said Daejhanae. Never mind. But I think that's what concerns me the most, is that the autopsy report, it contradicts what's being said by the doctor. And to me, I think, do you guys think that she was already deceased? And maybe the doctor is lying? It's kind of what I think. Like, something just doesn't add up here. And it pisses me off. It really does. This is not a game. This is somebody's life. How hard is it to tell the truth? Do you guys think that too? That she was already deceased? Okay, so drop in the comments, when do you think that she was unalive? Do you think that she was unalive right after the fight? I've got questions. Was she gone when the doc was there? Did they pay her to put different info? Describe a vulnerable state, doc. Yeah. Money does talk, especially in Mexico, unfortunately. Mexico is very corrupt. I've heard that, Petty Crocker. I've heard that. Because it seems to me that she might have passed away right after the fight. And the money that they took, obviously this is all speculation. We're just brainstorming here. Speculation, all allegedly. But the money that they took, they might have taken that money. And this is alleged that they took the money, but they might have taken that money and paid the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Because that doctor needs to be investigated, for sure. I think she passed shortly after her neck was broken, probably within an hour. I do believe she was in a comatose state. I think it's possible that she would have lasted a longer time alive. Right. Yes, see, I believe you're right on track. The autopsy report says 15 minutes after injury, the beating seemed to take place in a bedroom, but police found her in the living room area. Yes, they did. Yes, Tia, I believe you're right on track. Okay, let's listen to a little bit more. This is interesting, so make sure you guys, if you haven't seen this already, make sure you guys check this out, because obviously there's a lot of information in there, which I already knew about that, but yeah, that doctor definitely needs to be investigated. No doctor is trying 16 rounds of CPR, as the doctor stated. Right. Like the doctor's trying to save her own ass, obviously. I think they tried to stage it to look like a robbery, but couldn't keep their story straight. That's a good one too. I never thought of it that way. Such a young, beautiful lady, so devastating. I pray for justice in her family. Passed fast, I think, from broken neck. Because, okay, so I know that there's another videotape, another video that exists, okay? But if you guys noticed in that video, which I'm going to do a breakdown of it if I have time. If not, I'll do it tomorrow. If you guys noticed in that video, when Daejhanae punched SHANQUELLA and she fell down, do you guys notice that it even looked like she couldn't move her neck? Or is it just me? Because once she was down, it was like she couldn't even hold up her head. You know what I'm saying? Well, thank you, Kara. I appreciate that. I'm glad that that you suggested this to me. If you ever have any suggestions for something you think I should watch, just send it to my email or Facebook. Hold on. That is my deduction. She did not move after the fight. And when they moved her, that's where the screams of pain came in. Right, Kalita. Also, Baser said, when he got there, she was just a little sick and sitting in a chair. And you see, that doesn't add up. That does not add up. There's no way that she could. They even said that she walked. She could not have walked with a neck and back injury. The person who leaked this video has the answers. I agree to that too. Kind of. That's why she wasn't fighting back. Yeah, I noticed it. Turned my stomach. Her neck was unusually extended. It was like I said, we'll listen to a couple more minutes of this and I'll show you guys. I'm not playing the video or anything like that. I already played that once, but there's pictures. So
Entonces,
The information doesn't
parte de
match.
los policías cuando llegaron al lugar,
Also, when the
estaban
police
los
arrived
6
at the
amigos de
scene, the
Shanquella
6
estaban
friends of
ahí en el lugar,
Shanquella were there.
tampoco los detuvieron.
And they
No
didn't, the
aplicaron el
police did not
protocolo que aquí en
detain them.
México se
The police
utiliza,
didn't follow the
que cuando hay
protocol that's
un,
used
se puede
there
hacer
in
un
Mexico.
homicidio de ese tipo,
In
una
Mexico, when there's a
agresión
homicide like
o
that,
lo que sea,
when there's an
tú
assault or
estás en ese
whatever,
lugar y alguien fallece,
if you're there at the
en la
place and
reunión
someone
y ves que alguien
dies,
fallece, tú no te puedes ir.
you
Quedas
can't leave.
arrestado hasta que no se
You
esclarezca
are
lo que pasó.
arrested until the
En el
situation
caso de
is
Shanquella
clarified.
no fue así.
But
Ninguno
in
fue arrestado.
Shanquella's case, that didn't
A todos los
happen.
dejaron ir para
None
que
of them
regresaran
were
a Estados
arrested.
Unidos.
They were all
Entonces,
allowed to
ese
return
es
to
el
the
problema
United
que hay ahorita.
States.
Por eso es que la Procuraduría de Justicia en un comunicado de prensa que emitió hace unos días
That's why
explicaba que
the prosecutors
giró orden de arresto contra la
sent
agresora de
out
Shanquella, pero
an
buscaba
arrest warrant against
otras
Shanquella,
personas
but
por
also said that
encubrimiento y
other
omisión.
people are
¿Qué
under
significa?
investigation.
Que tiene
There was a
objeto de
cover-up,
investigación.
apparently. There was some omission
Posiblemente la
of
doctora ya
of
no
information.
¿Por qué? Porque están
So
ellos
possibly the
mismos los
doctor
que estuvieron
and the police that were there are
se puede
also
decir que en primera
under
fila,
investigation, since they had front row
llegan
seats
al
to the
lugar
whole
y se
thing.
enteran de todo, exactamente de todo lo que había ocurrido. Y si ellos cambiaron su versión para proteger
And if they changed if the doctor and the police changed their story
o
to
si la
protect the
doctora
tourist
mintió también,
consortium, to protect
pues
the
van a tener que
image
enfrentar la
for the
justicia en
tourists,
México, ¿no?
if the
¿Por qué?
doctor
Porque
lied,
eso se
then the
llama
doctor and the
encubrimiento
police will
u
also
omisión.
have to face
Entonces, es un
justice
tema
in
muy
Mexico. That's
delicado
called a cover-up.
y
It's
que mucha
omission.
gente ha preguntado, bueno, ¿y los amigos de Shanquella qué? ¿Por
So
qué
it's a
dejaron
very
de
delicate
buscar
situation. And so
quién
now we're asking,
estuvieron en
hey,
el
well,
lugar?
what about
Posiblemente los
Shanquella's
Facebook
friends,
estuvieron,
right? What about them? They
por lo
were
menos
there,
2 sí estuvieron.
right?
Fue la
And
persona
maybe
que
not
grabó
all of them were
y
there,
fue
but
la
at
otra
least 2 or
persona que
3 were
subió,
there. There was the
¿no?
person
Se
that
metió al
recorded it.
final,
That was the
se
other
metió al
person in the
final porque
end
no
who interfered a little bit.
sino que llega, entra y se queda parada.
The girl that comes from the back, she arrives, she gets there, she's looking, and then when the video ends, that's when she
cuanto a los
comes in.
policías cuando llegaron, no se puede ver la cara de.
Okay, so let me stop it right here just to make sure that we're all up to date about what's going on. All right. I can play this too. I asked him, I said, well, what's going on? Like, what happened when the friends got there? He said, well, according to the police got a 911 call. When the police go there, there's already a doctor there. The doctor said she had been called around 2:30. It took an hour to get there, so around 3:30.
Darlings, welcome to my gifting universe.
Once she gets there, she sees Shanquella. She tries to revive Shanquella. She's not reacting. She finds her semi-conscious. So she tells her friends, hey, we have to go to the hospital. The friends say, no, you got to treat her here. Ain't no hospital. So try to give her an IV. She was dehydrated. The doctor was thinking, well, maybe it's an IV. Okay, that makes sense because, she's drunken so much alcohol. Also, there are police there and some paramedics from the Red Cross. So hours pass. The paramedic from the Red Cross and the doctor give her 14 sessions of CPR. Nothing works. They declare her dead. The doctor declares her dead around 5:30, 5:47. Fine. What's the problem with that? Like 3 hours had passed from the time that the doctor was notified, which was at 2 something, and then the time the doctor declared her dead, which was 5 something. What's the problem? The problem is that there was an autopsy. If you practice criminal law, you find out something very quickly about these damn forensics people. These autopsy people, these doctors, they're scientists. They can pin stuff down very quickly because it's backed by science. And so The coroner is looking at the body, and the coroner says, no, this body, this person died 15 minutes after the injury. How do we know? Who knows? They're the fucking doctors. They're the experts. So the doctors say from the time the neck was broken and the two vertebrae were injured to the death, like according to what a human can do, 15 minutes max. But the doctor says, no, when I was there, we were trying to take her to the hospital, and then I was trying to give her an IV. The doctor put in there that she started to convulse and she lost control of her bowels. She had a relaxation of the sphincter. The doctor said that the paramedic from the Cruz Roja was there. If you read the police report, the doctor talks about how she began to have a seizure. I mean, all of this was happening over a period of hours. Then at 5:47, 5:30, 5:47, that's when the doctor declared her dead. The autopsy says she'd been dead. She was dead hours ago. Honestly, she might have been dead by the time the doctor arrived. If the call came in at 2:30, it takes her 15 minutes to die. She was dead by the time the doctor arrived. She had been dead for 45 minutes. Let's say the call, I don't have the numbers in front of me. Let's say the call happens at 2:15. It takes 15 minutes for SHANQUELLA to pass. That's 2:30. The doctor gets there at 3:30. When she gets there, SHANQUELLA had been passed for an hour. So what happens? Listen to what I'm telling you. This is Mexico. The doctor gets there. SHANQUELLA's passed. The 6 friends are there. The police show up. The Red Cross shows up. Everybody's in the room. There's a naked body. If this gets out, there's a murder in Los Cabos. Is that good for tourism? The doctors, the police are like, hey man, what are you gonna do, friends? There's speak of money missing. There's rumors that SHANQUELLA was missing money. I think the count now is like 6,000. SHANQUELLA had her own business and everything. Where's the money? Why were all these people allowed to leave? That's what Gerardo says. Gerardo says, listen, in Mexico, I don't know about the United States. In Mexico, we have a little rule. If you're in a room with a person that has been murdered, you're going to get arrested. You might not go to prison, but you're going to get arrested until, we can sort this thing out. All 6 of them should have been arrested. All the friends, none of the friends were arrested. Not one. Why? Furthermore, not only were none of the friends not arrested, they were all allowed to leave. And they were all allowed to leave the country. Why? Right? Protocols were not followed. So it looks like the doctor might have been lying, making this doctor's report, this medical report, and it looks like the police did not follow proper protocol, because no one was arrested and there's a body, there's a homicide. Like, what's going on? Right? So this is what he's talking about here. None of this can really easily be explained. All right? Let's get back to it. All right.
Sino que llega, entra y se queda parada. Y hasta que te golpearla es cuando entra, ¿no? Entonces,
Sí,
es algo.
Y en cuanto a los policías cuando llegaron. Now, regarding the police when they arrived.
No se puede ver la cara de SHANQUELLA.
You can't really see SHANQUELLA's face in the video
Pero se puede ver
because of the quality of the video, but you can see her face being beaten.
Puede imaginar
Like, I can imagine her face, Shanquella's face, being damaged by all the blows. So the police, with their training and their experience, wouldn't they be able to see Shanquella's face and know that she had been beaten, know that this was a murder? How did they let someone leave looking at how beat up Shanquella was? Do you think there was some money there, some money exchanged, a bribe? What do you think? What would be the reason to let the friends go? Yes, possibly there was something there. There was something that was given, some money, to allow them to leave. It's not common for someone to be in a fight like that and to be allowed to leave. It's a very delicate matter.
I knew it. I knew it. Like, this is infuriating. Oh my God. So, y'all, even this doesn't even save the doctor's ass, because there's no way, and that was also my biggest question, there is no way that you couldn't have seen bruises on her face. It doesn't make any sense that you're saying you checked her, her vitals were stable, she was just dehydrated. Then why did you want her think that she should have went to the hospital? This was all a payoff, period. There is no way that you could have been able to look at Shanquella, and like he's saying, it's a very delicate matter. Why would you let them go? They had to have paid. They had to have. It's infuriating because nobody deserves to be treated this way. Okay, this is a girl's life that was lost. Okay, no way should they have been able to leave. It's just upsetting because they didn't care. That's all it is to it. They didn't care. And if it wasn't for creators talking about this case, it wouldn't have even went viral. Who knows what would have happened? Exactly. That's what I think, Nanya. They came home. They're like, oh, it's gonna, it'll all go away. And they were sadly mistaken. As a mom and a doctor, I'm so pissed off at the situation. They paid with Shanquella's money. Exactly. And ultimately, they're the ones who murdered her. And you paid, oh my Lord Jesus. I can't imagine. There's an interview I want to show you guys really quick before we wrap this up with her mother. I'll listen to the rest of what he says, but this is devastating, you guys. Like, no way should this have ever. I just can't imagine what her family's going through, knowing that their daughter was completely dismissed, so much corruption. They used their daughter's own money to pay off, allegedly, the authorities for them to leave and leave her like they all, and this is why they've been so quiet, because they thought they were going to get away with it, you guys. That's why they've been so quiet. Trust me, if they thought for a second that they weren't going to get away with this, I truly believe they would be talking. But because they thought it was going to blow over, because they paid, the doctor, whatever, did whatever they had to do, I seriously, genuinely think that that's why they've been so quiet. And the point is that even in the beginning of this case, I seriously thought all of them were going to end up telling on each other. That's why they haven't told on each other. Because they thought it was going to blow over from what they did. All of a sudden, this doctor all this new information comes out, and this doctor says, oh, I was there and we tried to save her. So it makes the kids, not kids, these grown ass demons, adults, it makes it look like they at least tried to save her, right? When ultimately, I truly believe, allegedly, that she was already gone.
fuente que yo tengo me comentaba que había dinero ahí.
I have a source that told me that
Y
yes,
la
there
mamá
was
de
some money.
Shankela incluso al día
And
en su red
Shanquella's
social
mother
dijo
even
también
said
ella que
on her
ya
social
ahora entendía
network,
por qué la habían asesinado, porque la habían robado también.
said that
Entonces, es
they
algo
that there was
que
some
yo creo
money
que debe de
missing.
investigar si recibieron dinero.
So we don't know if the people that were
Porque es
investigating
muy
received
raro
some money.
que no
It's
los hayan
very
detenido.
rare that no
Muy
one had
sospechoso que
been
no los hayan
arrested. That's
detenido
very
y que se hayan ido
suspicious.
como si nada. Incluso hasta todavía hasta les entregaron las pertenencias para que se las llevaran a su
Even
mamá.
not only were they
Y
allowed
fueron
to
y les
leave, but they were
entregaron
allowed
la
to
misma
take
persona.
Shanquella's
La
stuff.
persona que
They
graba el
took it back to
video
her house.
va y le entrega a su mamá
The
sus
person that's
pertenencias de
recording
Shankela
goes to the
y sus
mother and
cosas que
takes the
llevaba de
mother
vacaciones.
Shanquella's belongings.
Entonces, su maleta.
Took her
Entonces,
suitcase.
del tema del recurso, yo a través de otra persona preguntamos a la familia y la familia dice que ellos no
I
tienen
asked
ese dato de cuánto dinero
through a
llevaba,
source that spoke
pero
with the
que ellos
family, and the
estaban
family said they
investigando
didn't
eso.
know exactly how much money was
Porque, por
missing,
ejemplo, se pagaron $5,000
but
del
they had
departamento
paid
y nada más estuvieron
$5,000.
2 días y iban
And
por una semana.
¿Cómo? ¿Quién pagó $5,000 o cómo?
like, wait,
El
wait, wait.
grupo
Who
de
paid
que iba con ellos,
$5,000 or what happened?
parece que pagaron de una cuenta de Shankela
The group
esos
paid about
$5,000
$5,000 apparently
y
from
les reembolsaron el
Shanquella's
dinero.
account,
Entonces, un dinero que también
and
está
that
ahí
money was
perdido.
reimbursed.
Entonces, es parte de las investigaciones que
So
se
that's
están
part of
haciendo
the
para ver
investigation.
qué fue lo que pasó
What
con el
happened
tema
there
del dinero y sobre
with the
todo
money?
ver si los policías o la doctora recibieron algún dinero
And if the police or the
en
doctor
referente
received
pues
any
para
money
cambiar la versión de lo que realmente pasó.
in
Porque
order to
una
change their story
persona que
about
yo
what
consulté
happened.
que es médico me decía es que los golpes son muy visibles.
I talked to a doctor who said that
No,
those
no
blows were
ocupas
very visible in the moment.
ni siquiera ser doctor para darte cuenta
Like
que
you
cuando
don't
una
even
persona
need
la
to be a
golpean
doctor to
simplemente con la mano
realize when the
la
person
piel
has
o
such
sangre o
bruises
algún
on their
rasgo de
skin or
violencia.
the blood, the traces of blood, the violence.
Y para entender bien lo de la cuenta.
Wait a minute. Now,
dice
to
que
understand
Shankela tenía una
fully
cuenta de
the
$5,000.
account with the $5,000,
Que
what happened there?
se pagó la
¿Quién pagó? No entiendo.
Who paid the $5,000?
haz de
Or I don't
cuenta que se
understand.
pagó un Airbnb en
Well, apparently the Airbnb
y
was
para
paid.
poder
There's an
rentar ese
Airbnb in
Airbnb
Mexico that
se
they were
tuvo que
staying at, that
pagar,
they
se
were
tuvieron que
renting,
pagar
and they had to
$5,450.
pay about
Ese dinero
$5,400 to stay there.
no se aplicó totalmente más que los 2 días que estuvieron ellos. El día que
All
llegaron
that
fue el
money
día,
was
un
not
día antes
used
y
up
el
because they'd only
homicidio.
stayed there
Ellos
2
llegaron el día
days.
18 y el día 19 se murió, la mataron a Shankela. Entonces fueron.
The 18th, and then when they murdered
Entonces, a
Shankella
eso
on the
me refiero
19th.
yo, pues que ese dinero se hizo un reembolso de ese dinero.
So that money
se hizo
apparently
un
was
reembolso.
returned.
Sí, entonces es lo que se anda
And
investigando.
I said,
de qué
wow,
fue
they
ese
returned it
dinero.
all? And he said, yeah,
Está
so
muy
that's being
raro.
investigated
Porque yo
because that's
tenía
very
unos
strange.
Airbnbs y si la gente sale
And
al
I said,
Messenger,
yes,
se
because
checa
I
todo
owned
cual a veces
Airbnbs.
pasa,
And if the
pues,
people leave
o
early,
sea,
which happens a lot,
su cosa,
I don't
¿no?
give them
Pero
any
no
money
hay
back.
reembolso, sí.
Así es. Pues
He
es que
said,
por el
yeah.
tema del homicidio, yo
He
pienso
said
que
maybe it's because of
la
the
muerte fue
homicide
obligada
that
para no tener
they
mayores
decided to
problemas.
return the money.
Y el
Por eso-
Airbnb ¿quién es el dueño del Airbnb? ¿Es el
But
gobierno?
who's the
privado,
owner
o
of the
son los
Airbnb? Is it the
particulares?
government? Is
Es
it
un
the city?
desarrollo
Is
que
it a
se
private
llama Puerto
person?
Los Cabos, que
No,
tiene
it's a
un desarrollo que
development
se
called
llama
Puerto Los Cabos.
Cabo Villa, se llama el lugar. Y
The
es donde
place is called
ocurrió
Cabo Villa.
ese homicidio, ese feminicidio
That's
en
where the
Cabo Villas. Es
femicide
un lugar
occurred.
muy, es como un complejo turístico.
That's where it's
Y ese
a
lugar
tourist
se puede
complex.
decir que tiene mucho prestigio
It has a
en el
lot
destino.
of prestige.
Es algo también que se ha manejado, pues, de que cuidan mucho su imagen.
And that's
Y
another
muy
thing because they really
posiblemente
take
el
care
tema
to
de
guard
Shankela
their
no se movió en los
reputation.
primeros días que pasó, porque
So
es
maybe that's why nothing was
para
happening
no afectar
when
la imagen
Shanquella
de
was
ese lugar.
murdered in order not to affect their
Se guardó
reputation.
silencio. Pero estamos hablando
So
de una
maybe
vida.
that's why everybody was
Entonces no
quiet.
es posible que no se pudiera saber lo que había pasado cuando se había pues terminado con la vida de una joven.
But how can you not know what happened when a young woman's life has ended?
Claro, claro. Y ahora se sabe que hay una orden de arresto.
Now, it's known that there's an arrest warrant, but I don't know which name is on the arrest warrant. Do you know, as a fact, whose name is on the arrest order? I can imagine that is Daejhanae's name, right? But do you know with certainty whose name is on there? No, I have not seen the order, so I'm not able to confirm it.
Con la gente de investigación es lo que ellos comentan que es ella.
But the people that are close to the investigation say that's yes.
Pero el documento en sí no lo podemos conocer hasta que no se emita la ficha roja.
But the document, we're not allowed to see it until the red file is issued, the red file for Interpol. Once we get that, we'll be able to see everything, the name, the relatives, where she lives, where she works, all of that. We'll get all the information once the red card from Interpol is released.
Pero ella es la que se menciona que está.
But yes, the Daejhanae is the person that's being mentioned.
Y seguramente ella, una vez que sea detenida y sea presentada.
Now, once she is arrested and detained, she'll have to report to the Mexican authorities. And she'll have a hearing. We will be at the hearing and we will share what happens at that hearing.
Antes se decía que igual y era la Daejhanae era como tal vez fue un hombre, ¿verdad?
Wow. So I say now, okay. Now you guys thought that the Mexicans thought that Daejhanae was okay. Let me stop it. This is another part that's a little fucked up. All right, I was like, now listen, guys, listen. You know, we already talked about the bonnets. You know, y'all didn't understand. I said, now you guys thought that Daejhanae was a man. 5,500 people in the chat. Daejhanae, if you're watching, hello. You going to jail now. They thought, Daejhanae, they thought you were a man. So I asked her, I said, well, why did you think Daejhanae was a man? He said, well, that's what the reports were. Why do y'all think they thought Daejhanae was a man? Anybody know? Again, this is a little bit cultural. They thought that Daejhanae was a man because of the maid. The maid went in there. Shout out to Luke Hazley. The maid found a wig. And when the maid found the wig, the maid was like, what the fuck is this? And the people at the villa noticed that Daejhanae would take on and off the wig. Now, I lived in Mexico 5-6 years. I never saw one Mexican wearing a goddamn wig, not one. The only time they would see Americans wearing wigs really would be at like Halloween. And they were like, it's not Halloween. Like, no, it's not Halloween. It's not Halloween. Like, what woman just wears wigs? What woman just goes around taking on and off a fucking wig? Well, who does that? No woman does that. The Latinas, they don't know. Now, some of these Latinas, they'll get you with the damn hair extensions. They act like they don't know what a fucking wig is. Ask them about these damn hair extensions. All right? So don't trip. But the whole full-blown weave with the cap underneath, they don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about that. So this is kind of what we get into because there are some cultural things that, you know, and again, this is a whole different country, Mexico, you know, you can't get closer to the United States in terms of location than Mexico, but it's still a different culture. So their women don't walk around every day wearing, you know, Brazil number 19. They don't know nothing about it. All right. So this is what we're kind of getting into. All right. Let me take it back here. Oh. We got. But it's estimated that in about 15 days, we will have her.
Meet Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer. It's a 90% natural water cream primer that
declaring in Mexico. Interesting. Now, the process in Mexico is different than the process in the United States. Here in the United States, when a person is arrested for a homicide or femicide or anything,
¿Cuáles son los pasos que siguen después del arresto?
Well, okay, in Mexico, what happens when the person is arrested and is in jail? After Daejhanae is arrested, she's going to be taken to the prison in San Jose del Cabo. There's going to be a hearing called the first hearing. In that hearing, they're going to read her rights. They're going to read her the accusations. They're going to explain to her the evidence. Any audio, any video, all the documents that incriminate her.
El segundo paso es, después de esa audiencia, es una vinculación de proceso.
The second step is another hearing.
Se pudiera decir al tema de SHANQUELLA. Y después de esa vinculación de proceso, ya viene, le dan de 3 a 6 meses.
After that hearing, they're going to give the public, the prosecutors 3 to 6 months to complete their investigation and close their investigation. That's why I'm talking about this process, because when she makes her declaration, then more information is going to come out. You know, if this was a homicide or if this was planned, if this was just because they were drunk, if this was a fight. Once the aggressor makes her declaration, then if there are more people implicated, then there are going to be more arrest warrants. Well, what happens if the aggressor decides not to make this declaration? They can't force her to make a declaration, right? Well, if she doesn't want to make a declaration, that's fine, because they have all the evidence. They have the video. They have all the forensics, fingerprints, the sweat. She's gonna end up screwed. Because these tests, they're scientific. The evidence is science. She can't say that those fingerprints aren't hers on SHANQUELLA's body. All these tests are scientific. Really, regardless of the video.
Incluso huellas de sangre que hayan quedado.
They have traces of blood.
Todos esos elementos,
all of the elements, all of the scientific evidence to incriminate her, they have if she doesn't want to make the declaration. Now, we're assuming that the person that's going to be arrested is Daejhanae. When she's in Mexico and she's in the process, can she reach an agreement with the prosecutor's office to incriminate others that were involved and receive a lesser sentence? Yes, yes, she can. Okay, let's stop right there. Let's stop right there to back up a little bit. So what are we talking about? We're talking about, listen, I say, you know, well, okay, so now the FBI is involved. Your government is involved. How long do you think this is going to take to get the aggressor, the murderer, to Mexico. He says, well, based on our experience, all that's needed is for the completion of the necessary paperwork, right? So we're doing the documents for Interpol, and we have to get our own documents together. So we have some internal documents, some state documents, and then there's some legal documents that we need to send out through Foreign Affairs. And once those documents are all in order and the Interpol process has started, Interpol is going to locate her and they are going to bring her to us and we're going to pick her up at the border, right? We're going to get her at the border. Once we get her at the border, she is going to be taken to prison. Once she's taken to prison, she's going to be read the accusations. It's kind of like a first appearance. Between a first and appearance, really, it's a little different. It's not even like a first appearance or an arraignment. It's like a first appearance, an arraignment, and a preliminary hearing all in one, apparently. Because she's going to be read the accusations, but she's also going to be told the evidence that's against her. Then she's going to make a declaration. Now, the declaration is weird. I don't know if y'all ever lived in Mexico, but if you lived in Mexico, you will see 3 men and 2 women lined up against a wall. And they will be in handcuffs. And then there will be police officers on this side and police officers on this side. And then they'll take all the photos and they'll have a table with all the drugs and the guns. And they'll be taking pictures and video. Then one of the officers will go up to each one and be like, okay, what's your name? Mi nombre es Jorge Martinez. How old are you? I'm 32. What did you do? Oh, I traffic drugs. I mean, in front of everybody. This is so common. Like they all just admit everything. That would never happen in the States. I mean, of course, in Americans, we admit stuff, but it wouldn't be like on camera and stuff. But this is super common for them. Now, what is the incentive for them just to admit everything? At any rate, guess who's going to be standing in front of that wall? What is your name? Daejhanae. How old are you? 25. Is the wig? What? I bought this. Did you kill? Did you murder? She's gonna be like, are y'all asking me this? Like, I'm just supposed to admit it with all these cameras? All these cameras are recording. You just want me to say off the strength that I killed her? Right? So that's what Jorge is saying. Jorge is like, she's going to be taken in to give her declaration. Now, so I was like, well, Gerardo, what? I said Jorge, sorry. Gerardo, I said, Gerardo, what happens if she doesn't want to give her declaration? He said, oh, well, that's no problem. Because they got all the evidence, man. You know, they got the video, they got audio, they got fingerprints, they got traces of blood, they got photos, they got the body. They got everything. They don't need her to say nothing. She's done. He said she's sunk.
Okay, that was a very good interview. I will watch the rest of it. I'll put his link in the description. Very informative. I could have continued to watch that, but I can't watch it forever. So you guys can go finish watching that. But so basically, what I do know also when it comes to Mexico is everything is done by paper. So Daejhanae is going to have to write a declaration. And if she refuses to write a declaration, obviously all the proof is there. But of course, she should write a declaration to give her side of the story. If she was to refuse to do that, I think that's stupid. You know what I'm saying? So I cannot wait to see what her story is going to be. However, another thing that is very interesting to me, what he said was that if they could make a deal with her too, like if she was to like implicate her friends, which is why I said it was a bad idea for all of them to keep quiet. The only one I feel that should have been the most quiet is Daejhanae, because it's on video, okay, that she attacked SHANQUELLA and ultimately murdered her. So I don't understand. Listen, at the end of the day, I ain't going down for nobody. And even though every single last one of them deserve to be in prison, okay, rot in hell, because they could have done something about this. They could have saved SHANQUELLA, and they chose to stand back and watch. Regardless, they still should have said something on their own behalf, because really them not saying anything to me definitely makes them look guilty. Yeah, they probably did. Yep, you're right, Commander. They probably did make a pact and said, nope, none of us are going to say anything. But really, because they didn't say anything, the only person that they were really protecting is Daejhanae, in my opinion. They were protecting her because at the end of the day, she's done. It's on video, okay? It's on video. We've seen what she did, but for the others, they stood back and watched. They're still accessories, but they still could have told their side of the story. Regardless of the pact, they chose to go down for her. But regardless, they still need to all be in prison, in my opinion. I dropped off many chats because of bad behaviors. Tia has loop guru through me. I'm very protective of y'all and her. Oh, thanks, Foxy Bot. I'm protective of you too. And I have a surprise for you guys coming very soon for all of you guys, all my supporters. So they must be scared of her. Maybe they might be scared of her. I tend to agree with Commander. I think they all have a pact, and they weren't going to break that pact. But regardless, to be honest with you, that pact really screwed them, in my opinion, because I'm sorry. This isn't about snitching, because at the end of the day, you got to do what's right. And what's right is this has turned into obviously a circus with so much false information being put out there. And they could have literally looked so much better, even to Mexico, if they would have tried to help SHANQUELLA's mother instead of protecting Daejhanae. Either way, they're going down too. Okay, I know that. I speak that shit into existence. They're all going to go down, but regardless, I still think it would have been better for the other 5 if they would have tried to do whatever they could to help the authorities, to help SHANQUELLA's mother, to try to rectify the situation and make it right. And they didn't do that. They chose to, probably, allegedly stick to their pact. And now there's no, even if there was any type of empathy, you're keeping silent for her, in my opinion. Okay, so I want to show you guys something before we wrap this up. Let me see. Is it this picture here? Yeah. Trigger warning. Very much trigger warning. All these damn ads. No, I don't have the ad blocker. Okay. That's not it. That's not it. That's not. Hold on, you guys. I have to find it. I did have it pulled up, but then I don't know what happened. Wait a minute. Such a beautiful girl. Makes me sick, these people. People can be so fucking evil. I swear I have a damn picture pulled up. Okay. Trigger warning. Again. So do you guys see in this picture here? Wait. Why did it do that? Do you guys see in the picture right here how her head is like limp, like she can't hold it up, like almost like she can't move like her neck, like it's very limp? I feel like that damage was done by Daejhanae. How did they transfer to the bed? Her spinal cord was severed. She couldn't get in the bed by herself. Yeah, I think they all carried her. But the way that her neck is limp right there, to me, it seems as though she definitely caused the neck injury, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I just wanted to show you guys that picture because there's more pictures too. If you go and look at the pictures, like I said, it's hard, but if you go and look at the pictures, even the video, preferably, when Daejhanae hits her and she falls to the ground and then Daejhanae keeps hitting her. If you guys notice, okay, as SHANQUELLA is being hit, usually our first initial reaction, our brain automatically, when we're being hit, okay, and especially if obviously the way SHANQUELLA was being hit, our initial reaction is to go like this, right? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the first thing that we're going to do. If somebody's hitting us and we're taking blows, we're going to go like this, you know, to protect it. Your brain just automatically tells you to do that. But what I noticed with SHANQUELLA is she didn't do that. She didn't, it's like when she was sitting there, she didn't do anything. She literally was just going, as she was hitting her, boom, boom. And I'm sorry, I'm just trying to explain it to you guys. Like her head was going everywhere as she was hitting her. I cannot stand that. I hope she is, never mind. But anyway, that is always our initial reaction when we're getting hit, like this. And as she fell to the ground and Daejhanae kept punching her, she was just taking him like this. She wasn't covering up nothing. So I wouldn't be surprised if the neck injury was caused by Daejhanae. That's just my opinion. And I think she knew they were going to kill her. With the subluxation of the neck from C1, C3 is automatically death. You suffocate and your heat slows. That's what I heard. Most people said that she probably suffocated. Yes, that's why I wondered if she sucker punched her before we saw the video. SHANQUELLA was already acting like a spinal cord injury of confusion. Absolutely. I agree. But I noticed that if you watched in the beginning, SHANQUELLA did swing once. She tried. And then once Daejhanae just started attacking her, then she went to the other side of the room and she's still punching her. SHANQUELLA falls to the ground. And as she's fall to the ground, he's asking her, SHANQUELLA, can you at least fight back? And SHANQUELLA's like, no. And as she's hitting her, most people, when they're being hit and attacked like that, the first reaction they're going to have is they're going to cover up their head. They're going to be like, you know, to protect their head, their neck. But with SHANQUELLA, she didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like she literally was just taking all those blows without protecting herself. And I think it was because that injury may have already existed. Either that or she, when she hit SHANQUELLA so many times, she became disoriented, fell down to the ground, and then she starts hitting her more. And ultimately that could have caused a neck injury too. It's honestly very disgusting to try to hit anybody that is not hitting back. It is. You're bullying. Okay. She literally said, like, Daejhanae is fucking screwed. Like in every way, shape, and form. There's nothing she can say. I don't care if she says that they were all drunk. Obviously, she wasn't drunk. It doesn't even look like she was drunk. She was very alert, aware. Her adrenaline was rushing. You could tell. She was hyped to do that shit. She was waiting to do that shit because she couldn't stand SHANQUELLA that much. Okay. She couldn't wait to that point. That's why they were all plotting in the room. Okay. The night before. You can tell her adrenaline. That girl there's no excuse for it. There's no excuse. She was all amped up to do that to Shanquella. It was like I think she even said that. I think she even said that in the video. She said something like, no, I'm tired of her, blah, 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 blah. But the fact that all the evidence is there and literally, the person filming is like, are you going to fight back? And she said no. Daejhanae is fucking screwed. And I cannot wait until she is tortured in the Mexican prison the way that she tortured Shanquella. I even had a concussion on my break. Her neck would be right. Like, because if you guys think about it, like my boys play football, right? Why do you think they play football? To protect their head, depending upon, you got to protect your head at all times, but depending upon what position you play, you know, you have to wear the helmet. There's a reason for that. You know what I mean? So that's why I do believe that Shanquella was disoriented, because that is just a natural reaction. Automatically, your brain is going to tell you to hold up your arms to protect your head. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't do any of that. It is. It's very cruel. They are just, like vile, absolutely vile human beings. Like, not even human beings, in my opinion. You can't call them animals, because even animals they go off of instinct. Okay. Just. Okay, so the last video I want to show you guys before we wrap this up is I want to show you the video with Shanquella's mom. One of the things that I know she's probably rejoicing, really happy. However, there are 5 more people to go that need to be arrested and prosecuted, all that kind of stuff. But one thing I will say is she looks exhausted. She does. She looks very tired. I'm praying for her heavy. I'm praying for her family. And this is not normally like me, you guys. Like, I usually, talk about a case and try to keep you guys as updated as possible, but I move on. But when a case hits so close to home with you, it's almost like you kind of get not necessarily obsessed, but you get so passionate that you want to continue to talk about it and continue to bring awareness about it, especially if your heart's in it. You're not trying to talk about it for clout. So I'm not normally like this where I talk about the same case. The only way I was like that is probably with the Justice for Vaughn case too. But even that, I didn't do that many videos as I have with Shanquella. So I'm praying for Shanquella and Shanquella's family. May Shanquella rest in peace. She is going to get justice, but you can very much tell that she's exhausted. Mrs. Robinson is exhausted. So let me show you guys this interview real quick. And some of the things that she had to say. Jealousy is an instinct, but people can control that urge. With animals, it's different. Okay. Because if I was to sit here and say they're animals, no, I wouldn't even say animals are horrible like that. I would never offend animals like that. Animals attack by instinct for, food, things like that. What they did, okay, is you can't even say that that's an animal. You know what I'm saying? People say they're animals. I say, don't even insult animals like that. Okay, don't insult animals. Animals aren't that evil. Animals, there's some that are evil, but no, animals are better than that. Like I can't even say animals with them. Okay, so let me bring this up real quick.
She was a good person. She had a good heart. You know, she loved everybody. She loved life, and she went to college for business. And you know, she just had a heart of gold. And I know that there's nothing that she could have done to anyone to make him do her like that.
When the prosecutors announced the arrest warrant, did they reach out to you to inform you of this beforehand?
Yes, they did, but they didn't. They never told me who was being arrested, and they also haven't said that they have arrested anyone yet. No, I didn't know anyone but Khalil Cook. The other ones, I did not know them. All I know that she went to school with them. Khalil Cook used to come to our house and go on family trips with us. He's supposed to have been her best friend.
This is her mother. This is Mrs. Robinson, and I absolutely love the picture in the back. It's absolutely beautiful. But you can tell, you know, she's doing interview after interview, you know, trying to bring as much awareness as possible. And you can tell she's tired, you know. This would take a toll on anybody, for a mother to lose a daughter. And yes, she's very beautiful. For a mother to lose her daughter and then doing whatever she can to bring awareness, you know, going on as many interviews as possible. I mean, she's been interviewed by a lot of people. So it was just really hard for me to watch this, because you can tell, you know, at some point, I hope that she, and she's not going to rest until justice is served. And regardless, she's never going to rest. You know, her daughter's gone. Her other half is missing. When you lose a child, that defies everything against nature, you know? So obviously she's going to struggle for a very, very long time, but she will feel so much better and will be able to rest a little bit once justice is served for all of them. You know what I mean? Not just Daejhanae, but all of them.
The GoFundMe that's been created, we had Tanika Mallory on last week, the co-founder of Until Freedom, and of course your family going to be traveling back and forth. A number of people have contributed. I think already has exceeded almost $400,000. And so, what would you like to say to the folks who have stepped up and assisted you and the family in this time of need?
I want to thank each and every one. If you only made a phone call, you gave a donation, whatever, I would like to thank you, because we're really going to need it to be, for our attorney to go to Mexico and come back and somewhere to stay. And we also going to need it. So we really appreciate each and every one of you.
There was more to the interview. I'll put the link in the description. But yeah, they're going to need, you know, I think obviously $400,000 is great, but they're going to need a lot more, because they're going to have to be traveling back and forth. So I'll see if I can find the GoFundMe link and put it in the description as well, because, you know, it's going to take a lot. I can't believe the Cabo Six actually went to her mom's house and tried to grieve with her. That is the worst kind of evil. I agree, Alexandria. It is. I think that's probably the worst part, is that they went there and tried to grieve with her and lied to her straight to her face. And then going over there, and as soon as the autopsy report comes out, you disappear. Like, if that doesn't say guilty, I don't know what does. And the whole factor in this to me is that I just personally don't agree. I truly feel like if they would have done whatever they could, even though there's nothing that they can do that can ever justify what they did and how they stood back and watched SHANQUELLA ultimately be beaten until she was unalived. You know, they murdered her. But if they would have done whatever they could to help assist the family, admitted to their wrongdoings, was empathetic about it, told the truth, I personally, and even if it wasn't Winter, or I'm talking about everyone except Daejhanae, because we know she wouldn't have never did that. But with all the rest of them, I feel like if they would have done whatever it took to just try to help assist the family and admit to what they did, maybe there would have been a little bit of leeway for them. You know, yeah, I still think they would go to jail, but maybe people wouldn't hate them. I hate to say the word hate, but people wouldn't despise them as much as they do. You know what I mean? Or front up with the truth once the facts were known. Exactly. Once the facts were known, go to her house and say, look, let me tell you what happened. You know, but just like Commander said, I truly believe they had a pact. They're sticking to it, but not even realizing that their pact isn't protecting anyone but Daejhanae, because she was the one on camera and proof that she ultimately did what she did to this beautiful, innocent girl. I don't care what SHANQUELLA did in their eyes. Okay. I do know that what I noticed about watching SHANQUELLA is she liked to joke around a lot, you know, and tease people and say, you know, there's a videotape out there of her saying you can't do sit-ups. They were all having fun and playing, you know, the what if card game or something like that, or dare, whatever. And, you know, you could hear SHANQUELLA in the background joking and things like that. But either way, so what? There's no, that is what I'm waiting for. And I think what everyone's waiting for. What could possibly be her excuse, which nothing excuses it. Let me make that clear. Nothing excuses what they did. But what could possibly be her excuse as to why she did this? Now, there was an Instagram post allegedly being Daejhanae, and Daejhanae saying in that Instagram post that she's not going down for fighting. Everyone fights. Well, no, that was not a fight. What don't you get? I don't know if it was her. If it was, that was probably one of the stupidest things you could possibly say. It's almost as if the Cabo Six just thought everyone else was just dumb. Just dumb. You know what I'm saying? Everyone else, there's no way they could keep up with this. You know, just naive to the fact that people are going to do research. People are going to do their due diligence. People are going to, her mother is going to fight for her. And from what they said from the very beginning, never added up to her. Hate is understandable in this scenario. You do not set up a woman for murder because you are jealous. Absolutely. Hate is a strong word, though. I just despise them. I have just no empathy. They all belong in hell, okay? But the point is that I just truly feel like if they would have just came clean, maybe things would have been a little bit different for them. Yeah, they still would have been punished, but maybe Mexico would have been more lenient to the fact that they tried to help, you know. Let me read some comments. If she had stopped hitting her and she got her help, maybe I could see my way to less harsh, righteous reckoning. I agree. I agree with that. We hate the act. Exactly. We hate what happened because we know that they were too old, so they must recover accountability. That's why you see many religions have an age of accountability. Exactly. They were jealous of her success, immensely jealous of her success. And that's also something that I think that's why people are so like, I cannot believe this happened. Trust and believe they're going to make a movie out of this one day. I'm sure. I just hope it's not a Lifetime movie because thanks, Joe. I understand your view too. I try not to say the word hate though. I do, because hate is a very, very strong word, but I will say I despise them. I hate what happened, but I understand what you're saying too. I just try very hard not to use that word. It would still be murder. I agree. I hope they add the person in as an accessory to murder or murder, because you are these doing nothing of help to the victim, just videoed her. Exactly. They deserve life. Like, I agree with that. God be with her mom and papa and her family. Provide for them financially. Bless them during their fight for justice and give them comfort. Amen. Amen. I just watched a father of a child that was as a child in Tiger community. The community berated and harassed him, even though he was a man of God. So the poor man had a heart attack from it. Yeah, that's horrible. That's horrible. Try not to spell out the word R. Just say R or put a star in there or something like that, because YouTube is picky when it comes to that kind of stuff, which I don't understand why, but they are sometimes. She is a strong woman. She definitely is strong. The whole family, like, as much as they continue and will continue to fight for their daughter, it is very, very commendable. I can't wait. I can't believe the Cabo 6 actually went to her mom's. I read that. SHANQUELLA was depressed and alone. All she talked about was fake friends, family, betrayal, being used, and loving people who didn't love her. She just wanted to share her light. She did. She did. There was a video that I seen where people were looking at Facebook posts that she did, and maybe we'll go over that tomorrow. There was some Facebook posts that she did that, definitely showed that she saw the people around her, that, I don't know, she was just in a very, you could tell by some of the posts that she would make that she was very much aware that there were jealous people around her and that she didn't trust anybody, all of her friends, just a lot of the posts that she's made. Let me see if I can give you guys an example before we wrap this up. Let me go down here. Like, she would share quotes, and we all know that when you share stuff on Facebook, it's kind of how you're feeling at that moment. Yes, let me show you this post right here. Okay, this is her Facebook. And one of the things that she said, it's a quote that she shared. It says, "It's crazy because ends be jealous and bitches lifestyles too. Like, that's weird as F." You know what I mean? Weird AF. So she's meaning people are jealous, and it's men too, not just women. You never know. She could be talking about Khalil. He was a man. He was her best friend. She's just saying men can be jealous too, not just women. So yeah, beautiful picture of her. Only foolish people will skip this. Y'all make me not want to have kids. Life is so weird. Now you don't know who to trust. You don't know who really love you. You don't know who really out to get you. All you know is to stay on your toes and be ready for whatever is in front of you. And she posted this on April 27th of 2021. So that's ironic that she would say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally in this post, she's saying you can't trust anybody and to be ready and to always stay on your toes. And it's just so sad that this happened to her. Here's another one. That good heart you got is gonna attract a lot of people with bad intentions. She shared this on April 21st. April 21st, she shared this. That good heart you got gonna attract a lot of people with bad intentions. It'd be too many sides. hold on, I hate it when Facebook does that. It'd be too many sides with mother effers. That's why I F with myself heavy, meaning there's too many sides. People take too many sides. There's always sides. People always have to pick a side. And that's why I fuck with myself heavy. She reposted that on April 16th. I feel her on this, okay? That's why I fuck with me heavy. And I don't trust anybody because everybody's always, at some way, shape, or form, always has to, you know, have sides. You know, it's impossible to stay neutral. Why is my son texting me? It's impossible to stay neutral. I spent 11 years living in metro areas of the US. Wow. It's just ironic that she posted all these things. I have been watching via my TV, but I have to say this case hit me and unnerved me. You were so right about Shanquella's lack of arm movement. I recorded spinal damage through DV9, slip discs, and a fracture. Wow, Bridget. Time to clock out. He's just texting me, telling me, so I don't know what he wants. He had to go pick up his friend or something. So another post she shared, I'm in the most weirdest place. I'm in the most weirdest place of my life right now. Happy because I love who I'm becoming, but hurting because I know I got to let people I love the most go because they no longer serve me anymore. But I'm so ready to see the outcome of this process. I just know God finna show me. I just know God finna show out with me. That's sad. So already, like, even just watching these posts and reading these posts, this was April 16th. She knew that there were people around her that she couldn't trust. I wish I had family that was tight. My family acts like enemies. The shit is sad. This one says, any bitch that ever laughed at my pain got it even harder. Be careful what you joke about. Wow. This was on April 15th. Don't let these ends lie to y'all. They be going through phones too. That's a good one. Forgiving people in silence and never speaking to them again is a form of self-care. I don't care how heavy that crown is, put it on my head. Amen. Nobody apologized for how they treated me. They just blamed me for how I reacted. So she was this one is a broken heart right here. That was April 15th. My girl really getting back to herself. I'm so happy to see her having a full combo. I'm an alpha female. I don't look for a man to provide for me financially, but I'm also not going to deal with a man that cannot provide. I don't mind being submissive, but I'll never let the blind lead me. Seen this on Twitter, and I just want to say this. This is the post of 2021. That's actually a good one. I like that. So, yes, life officially taught me anyone can switch up no matter the history or bond. And she got 131 likes on this, and this was January 26th. And yes, it's very true. So we all know that the things that we post on Facebook is very much how we're feeling at that moment. Not always, but for the most part, I think it adds up to a person who is so successful like Shanquella and, you know, has successful businesses, you know, an entrepreneur. She's her own boss. She can get up and go whenever she wants to. She has no kids. You know, I can't imagine the people that were surrounded around her that were jealous of her. You know what I'm saying? And that she didn't trust. And I'm sure she's probably talking about Khalil and those bitches that sat there and watched her. All of them that sat there and watched her be brutally beaten. Let me see a couple more. And that's very true. Life can always switch up on you. Just because I shared it doesn't mean I'm going through it. I just understand it. Lord, heal my mother and all the places she hurts that I don't know about. That's sweet. MFs be trying to play me like I'm stupid, or the R word. Shouldn't say that, but it says MFs trying to play me like I'm stupid. I'm a stand on some shit before I let an N pull a fast one on me. Repeat after me. This will be my best financial year of my life. I want to be very clear. She posted this January 12th. I want to be very clear. I can't help nobody with shit this year. This is my selfish share. I spent so much of my time trying to help people and supporting people that did not support me at all or genuinely. I don't have shit or got shit. Everything that I do for the remainder of the year is for me only. Wow. So yeah, God protect me from the ones I love that don't love me. She posted that January 5th. Wow. Beautiful girl. She must have just got her lashes done there. That's pretty. This year is all about elevation and prosperity. So that just gives you guys an idea that she definitely had that. She knew that there were people around her that she couldn't trust. She knew she was around some snakes. And unfortunately, they got her when her guard was down. That's all. You don't ever think that you're going to go on a trip, a beautiful trip to Mexico with people that you knew from college, and then one who happens to be your best friend, right? You don't ever think that something like that's going to happen. You don't think that they're going to fight you and ultimately hurt you so badly to a point that you lost your life. You don't think about things like that. That's the last thing you're thinking of, So she probably knew. Like, I know that there's a lot of people that say, how could she not know? You know what I'm saying? Nobody would ever know something like that. Nobody could ever know that somebody is so severely jealous of them that they would do something like that. However, I do think that she knew, just judging by the post that she posted, I do think that she knew she was around people that were using her. SHANQUELLA's mother said that SHANQUELLA was very giving, that she was just a beautiful light that would have helped anyone if they needed help. She hardly ever said no to anyone that needed help, which makes sense with some of the posts that she shared. So you just don't think that is ever going to happen, but I do think that she was very aware that she had jealousy around her. How could you not? When you're successful, unfortunately, that's why people say that when you start gaining success, and it's crazy to me that people say this because it does make a lot of sense. People say when you start gaining success, you need to get out of your town, that you need to move away, because the people that are around you, the people that you grew up with, they're not going to be happy for you. Maybe some will, but the majority are going to hate on you. They may try to set you up like they did with SHANQUELLA. So people say that when you gain success, you should go somewhere else, move out of town with people that don't even know who you are. Jealousy is a disease. It really is. And it just gets worse and worse and worse unless it's nipped in the bud. We don't have reptiles, really. We have bears, elk, deer, bisons, large game and small too. She knew they wanted her as a friend for what they could get from her, by the sounds of it. Yeah. She definitely, I feel, was very aware that she had jealous people around her. I just don't think that she thought it would ever come to that magnitude, and nobody would. I definitely wouldn't have. However, I'm sure that there were many times when I was threatened to get my face cut up, and when I've been jumped, I'm sure they probably wish they could have did more. It's just that people were around. But what if people weren't around? Who knows what they would have done? What if they would have caught me slipping in the school bathroom? Or they would have caught me slipping somewhere else. You think that they wouldn't have cut up my face? You never know. It's such a tragedy, that poor young woman. I think it was jealousy, and it can be terrible. Jealousy is very terrible. Very, very, very horrible. It's something that it's human behavior. Like I said on my last live stream, it's human behavior. However, it's something that you need to nip in the bud. It's something that you need, if you feel that you have some kind of that you're envious of somebody, then you need to do some self-reflection on yourself and figure out, what is it that you're envious about? What is it that this person has that you're jealous of? Because you don't want to get caught up in that, because what happens is it just grows and grows. And unfortunately, for the majority, it does grow and grow and grow and grow and grow, but it's very rare for it to get to the point where what happened to Shanquella. I mean, it happens every day though, but I think it's rare for the world to see. Let's put it that way. I did for quite some time, got away from home and just had a couple of really close friends in my hubby. You would never expect all your friends to stand by and not stop it. I hope her soul is happy and at peace. Me too. We have 1,000 natural lakes where I live, Foxybot. Not all are good to use. I'm glad you're still with us, Tia. You're a huge voice for victims. God bless you. You even protect us. I'm forever grateful for you. Thank you, Running Bear. I'm grateful for you too as well. I'm grateful for all of you guys. You guys are amazing. So thank you guys for being here and listening to me. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for this long. I always say it's never going to be long, but it always turns long because I always have so much stuff to go over, and we always have great conversations. So sorry I kept you guys so long. So sad she spent her last days with those rats. What a beautiful soul. Rest in peace, sweet Shanquella. Praying for her family. So amen. Just continue to pray for her family. I will put the GoFundMe, if you are considering or thinking about donating. I'll put the GoFundMe in the description if you want to donate, because they are going to need a lot of money. I will say that, because it's going to be a journey. There are 5 more people that need to be held accountable. So they're going to have to be doing all that back and forth with their attorney and everything like that. So, but I do think it's awesome that they have so much money now. Sorry I was late listening. I will be sure to listen from the beginning. Thank you, Unsolved Cases and News. I appreciate you being here. Aw, thanks, Running Bear. You're so sweet. You are an amazing advocate, T.S. Moon, and you are an amazing person, hon. So are you guys. You guys are amazing. Just for listening to me. I appreciate it. I just feel so bad. Like, that's all I could say. Like, I know there's many times I could have been in that position. This case just hits close to home for me. It just does. I've never been this obsessed with the case. I've never been this way before. So maybe it has a lot to do with me kind of coming to the conclusion that true crime is definitely a passion of mine. But I know there's a lot of cases out there that I do want to talk about, but I am very focused on this one. We love you, Tia, and you're beautiful, hon. Thank you, Jill B. You're beautiful as well. Don't forget True Crime Thursday. Subscribe. Thank you, Commander. Thank you to all my amazing mods. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you keep a lookout for my community posts, because I do have a surprise that I will be posting for you guys. And everyone in chat, please just hit the like button. Yes, please hit the like button. It does help, and it does help push me through the algorithm. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for being here and listening and giving your input, interacting with me. I appreciate it. Maybe next time one of you guys will come up on panel. If you don't have the courage, build up the courage and come on panel so I can get other perspectives. I want to get other people's perspectives on this case besides just in the comments. So thank you guys. I love you guys so much. And I will see y'all tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Wednesday. Yeah, I'll probably be here Wednesday and Thursday for true crime and whatnot. Yeah. And you guys, all my mods, you guys are amazing. Thank you guys for being so helpful. I'm very appreciative towards you guys, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Deuces. Love y'all. Bye. Wait a minute. Where's my outro? Oh, there it is. Deuces. Bye. Love y'all.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gonna feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so